Kick the tires, light the fires. We have got Cleveland Moto podcast number 367, and they're off. Mine doesn't make any of those noises.
You have the tinklies, though.
Yeah, you know what? I poured this drink before the pizza, pizza excursion, so this is fully Kromkeyed at this point.
Fully Kromkeyed.
My long deceased, my long deceased hero in life, my Uncle Ron.
Yeah.
They used to have a cottage over there by the smokestacks in Mentor.
Yeah.
That was their like boat cottage.
Sure. Yeah.
So we go on weekends with my straight edge parents to hang out with Uncle Ron.
Yeah.
And Uncle Ron always had a pinky ring and the fucking glass.
Yeah.
And so I grew up always wishing I could go tink, tink,
Tink, tink, tink, tink, tink. Yeah, exactly. Uncle Ron.
He was the man.
Uncle Ron was the man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is, we all fucking survived St. Patty's Day.
I didn't leave the house.
That's the
Fuck
best
St.
plan
Patty's.
ever.
Same. Yep.
It's not
Well,
a bad
let's tell
plan.
people. So we usually do the podcast on Thursdays.
We normally do.
We didn't because
St.
Amateur
fucking
night?
Patty's Day.
Yeah, right.
To my immediate left.
Oscar?
To his immediate left.
Steve Sleepy.
To his immediate left.
Chris Smith.
A slight gap, and then
Johnny Mac.
Steve Hoffert.
Then yes, and remarkably far apart tonight. Well, I get to give you guys credit. Well done. Yeah, exactly.
Keep down the fisticuffs.
So
Yeah, they were fighting earlier.
They're within junk punching distance.
that doesn't shock me at all.
Oh, they're playing knucklies.
So I'm going to tell you guys the story about why we don't do the podcast here on St. Patty's Day.
Yeah.
And the story goes back a few years where it just so happened that we had a podcast outside,
Oh, yeah.
and it was a Cracklecast.
Yep.
And it happened to be on the day that was acknowledged as being the celebration of St. Patty's,
Even though it
it wasn't technically.
Was that the day the guy threatened to kill you?
Yes, it was.
And the guy crashed on the bike.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
This is a lot of
Shit
fun.
on the side of the,
Yes, it was. Those things are all factual statements.
It is.
And that's all happened during one fucking podcast.
Right. And it was fun, but at the same time, risking getting shot is never fun. So,
Anytime somebody shows up at your podcast and then suggests gunplay when he's
Not in a positive way.
19 sheets to the wind.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, that was 3 years ago?
Yeah. It was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a COVID cast.
Oh, because it was outside. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
And it was outside.
it was warm. We were all excited because it
you're
was
right.
like 68 degrees.
You
and you were
got
like,
it.
we're going to have a fire and fucking do it outside.
Yeah.
And one of the most dangerous things that can happen in the city of Cleveland on March the 17th is any temperature above 60 degrees.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because it is like fucking air out your douchebags. It is seriously. What the fuck? I saw a Latino guy going down. So for people who aren't here, for people who don't know this neighborhood, the shop is in Cam's Corners, which should be called O'Cam's O'Corners. Okay? Because the story behind Cam's Corners is for many, many years, nigh on 100 years, if you wanted to be a police officer or a city worker or a firefighter, you had to live within the city limits of Cleveland to work in the city limits of Cleveland. You had a residency requirement. And because cops and firemen and stuff, they don't want to go out and blaze new trails, which is kind of what the rule of that ordinance is meant to keep your firefighters and your police officers in the neighborhoods so that they know people and that they have something at stake. So they're vested in being a good police officer and being a good firefighter because they are literally inhabitants of the city. But Cleveland is a bunch of districts. And the trick was pretty much every fucking cop and every fucking firefighter in the city of Cleveland lived in this neighborhood for many, many years. And it was pretty much guaranteed every street had 9, 10, 15 cops, 9, 10, 15 firemen on every street in this neighborhood, which there is a strange propensity for law enforcement and fire officials to be Irish. Is it a drinking thing? Is it a result of a drinking thing? Does it end up being a drinking thing? I don't fucking know. But if you watch anything from the goddamn Untouchables to, any ancient movies, the cops walking the beat are, oh yeah, toy, yeah, you go watch the fucking affection, and Sean Connery's putting on an Irish accent so he can be a Cleveland beat cop or a Chicago beat cop, whatever, man. But that's it. And that is not lost on us here. So despite the fact that Cleveland forever has had its St. Patty's Day parade downtown, the real shenanigans all happen here.
Yep. Cam's Corners.
Cam's fucking corners.
What is the Irish bar? It's like the number one Irish bar in like the tri-state area or something.
Okay, so there's many.
Gormley's.
No, but the one.
So there are 7 Irish bars.
Right, but the one
within a short
one,
stumble from where we're sitting right now.
Like that's the only place I've ever been to where they had a
Tam O'Shanter, Shaughnessy, Honnessy's, of Flaky McDougal's, right?
well, that too.
Yeah.
But they also had a cover
Johnny
band.
McSloshy's.
A cover band
Yeah.
of what's the shipping off to Boston dudes?
The Dropkick Murphys, right.
So they had a Dropkick Murphys cover band.
They could have had part of the band.
Right, yeah, it might have been. I don't know.
And he might have showed up just to be like, meh.
But I moshed.
Yeah.
I threw myself at people in that bar.
In that bar,
there,
right.
like 10 years ago. It was a long time ago.
Yeah. But I mean, with the amount of bar firepower that we have in this neighborhood, it is a very good idea, if you have it, to bring it indoors. If you want to keep it, bring it indoors. Yeah. So I will give you guys a real quick assessment of what happened yesterdoodle. So apparently James went to work out at about 7:30 or some nonsense. Sure. And he said already they were putting the barriers up. There's no parade, people. There's no need for barriers.
Kegs and eggs, dude.
There's no parade, people.
Well, there's a parade.
We don't need a barricade. We don't need to barricade in the streets and sidewalks.
No, it's the parade of kegs to eggs people that are going to get.
Oh my God.
The parade is downtown, 20 miles away.
So James texted me and said, girl just came out of the bar, Timmy McVeigh's or whatever they're called.
McDougal's or
and came out of McVeigh's and puked her way across the street at 7:30 in the morning.
That's how you do it.
Damn.
That's Marion material right there.
Yeah. A couple of years ago, James had gone to the West Park Station for Kegs and Eggs. And he said by 9:30 they had brought in a temporary inflatable hot tub or what have you. Yeah. And by 9:30 in the morning, people were already puking in the inflatable hot tub and naked. Okay. No. So James warned me, sent me a text message before 8 a.m. saying, if you're on your way to work today, be fucking careful because our corner, Cam's Corners, is already been fucked.
It's gonna be a shit
right.
show.
So I was really bummed. So like Dan, our buddy Dan here, Kromke from the podcast, he's on a little vacation kind of trip, And I was
got the fuck out of town for St. Patrick's Day.
I was so excited because I finally dyed a bunch of weed green and I was going to share it with him for St. Patrick's Day.
You had extra green weed.
I did, dude. It was been so awesome, but
it would have been something.
Oh, I'll be right back.
Okay. Speaking of which, but so that's the PJ McIntyre's Irish pub.
Yeah, right, that's it. There you go.
Yeah. Sloppy O'Toole's.
Yes.
Yeah. Sloppy O'Two Knuckles.
There's nothing better. There's nothing better than a bunch of a Cleveland State girls coming over and becoming fully Irish.
Yeah. For
a day.
So right above that is the Celtic Dance Studio. Okay.
They do river dance?
Oh, nonstop. And in the summertime, when the windows are open, you can hear it all the way down here.
Yeah, it's an academy up there.
It is an academy. Right, exactly. So this is not joking. Like, we're not making it up. We're not just saying it's because there's 7 Irish bars.
Right.
We're saying it's because this is the Irish Cultural Center of the city of Cleveland.
You're a little Ireland over here.
Yeah. So I'm on my way to work. I round that corner about 9:30, and I round the corner about 9:30, and what had to be at least 375 pounds of leprechaun comes sort of spinning across the street. Yeah. And he's in a full pirouette across the street. And everything he owns is made of that green dollar store felt. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he's just kind of black. And I stop short so I don't hit him. He spins in front of my car, hits the barricade and knocks over the entire barricade. A barricade that is meant to stop bears, apparently. Yeah, right. Yep. Oh, the breakfast of stoners.
Oh,
Wheaties. Shit. I love it. And I especially love the fact that it was discounted.
Yeah.
and it has Tommy Chong's likeness on it.
I would give you $7 for this shirt.
Oh, there you go. I think you can only pay for that shirt with weed.
Oh, all right. Well, that's done too.
So you went on the day where we got the coupon.
Right.
Half off.
Wake and bake.
It might smell a little bit like gasoline already.
Oh,
that's okay, but I appreciate this. Nobody's ever made an effort for me. This is amazing. Now I don't feel bad.
You're going to get asked to the prom.
No. I mean, he didn't pull out, so I think it's kind of I think it was like an apology for that. But
right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
that Oscar's party.
We didn't film that part of it. That was when I turned the camera off.
I just felt like Tommy Chong. I mean, if you hold Tommy Chong up to him,
Right.
There's kind of a
that'd
likeness.
be-
If there was,
I'd love
Oh
it.
yeah, there's more than a little likeness. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
he's also got that.
It's
Chinese
perfect.
look.
Yeah, I like
I'm
it.
gonna wear this to work on Monday.
Sleepy gets those eyes after he gets in a little deep in.
Yeah.
So I came in, I realized we were in trouble.
Okay.
Pretty early in the game, I realized we were in trouble. And then I realized, our parade kicks off at 1:07 p.m.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why there's tradition of something like there's a magic number, I guess. It's numerology.
104.
Yeah, okay. I'll take your word for it.
No, I think they said 104. I mean, I think
Yeah, I know it's something.
104.7.
Yeah. No, but I think it was 104.
No, historically speaking, and I've
about
been in
1
that.
o'clock. It's about 1 o'clock.
I've been in that bastard a number of times, and they tell you to get there to rally up and get your spot in line for the parade. Make sure you get there about 9 o'clock in the morning because we're gonna have you out, either in the cold or the sun or the whatever, getting
The
liquored
blizzard.
up until about 1 p.m. and about 1 o'clock, a little after. 104, they fucking hit the drum and off you fuck, right? And then you have the slowest drunken procession down through the middle of Cleveland that you've ever had. So because everybody does kegs and eggs, and I am going to tell people there's a tradition in this city. If you live where Chris lives, if you live in the River of Rocks, or if you live in Fairview Park or Westlake or whatever, all these families have this tradition of having kegs and eggs somewhere near their house. Then they walk down, and why they make it a point, whether you're an East Sider or West Sider, we're going to ride the Rapid. Yeah. And it's the one time a year white people ride the Rapid, right? We're going to ride the Rapid. And they all walk down, and it's not a short walk, and they walk down and they ride the Rapid. They don't know what it costs anymore.
You can get on it.
It's like it's the one day a year when it looks like Chinese people being shoved onto a train, and they're all wearing green felt, right? And some are getting more felt than others.
It looks like spandex at Cedar Point.
It does. It's a fucking mess, man. And so they're all getting shoved onto a rail car, off to the showers, but they away they go, right? I've only been Irish for 2 years, okay? I'm still getting used to it. So
Yeah, because you used to be Scottish.
right.
And now you're Irish.
Thanks, 23andMe.
Yeah.
Scottish.
He used to be Scottish.
I was Scottish. For 50 fucking years I was Scottish.
And I just found out I am Scottish. No, I mean, I'm a quarter Scottish.
He's
but-
Everybody's Irish on St. Patrick's Day except the Scots.
Right. They're still
Well,
Scottish.
that's what I was gonna say. Phil lost his little meme that was like,
Yeah.
everybody's Irish today, but the
Right.
Scots are still fucking Scots.
And I've always been. And I have always been. Like, okay, you guys can have your little stupid green party and whatever else. And I'm just going to fuck you all, right?
Yeah.
And I've always been that way and always will be that way.
Plus,
I'm
you're
not
a
giving,
mean motherfucking bagpiper.
And I
So,
don't, well, yeah. No, I call it a sack.
Oh,
Yeah, that's it. But so yeah, we're kind of getting ready for it as we always do. Mm-hmm. And so this whole procession of kegs and eggs at your house or kegs and eggs at your fucking local. So kegs and eggs at your local turns into, okay, well now me and the kids and old Dakota and Rockford and Chelsea and are going to walk down because fucking kids have dumb names these days. They're going to fucking drunken stumble down to the fucking Rapid because they want to be responsible. And no, they want to drink on the fucking train, right? So they're going to play this game. So this parade of fucking numbnuts goes past my shop between the hours of 10 a.m. and noon 30. You know the noon 30 people aren't going to make it downtown on the Rapid. They're cutting it way too close.
They don't give a shit anyhow.
But they are super, super rat fucked already. I mean, these guys are pie-eyed, messed up, fucked up pieces of shit. And they're going past my shop, and we got the bikes out. First mistake.
They're ready to fight a telephone pole.
They are legit. My telephone pole out here is 30% telephone pole, 70% staples from people putting, staples into it for years, putting banners and shit on it. And it is an armor-plated, spiky-ass cactus of a telephone pole. You don't want to wrestle with that telephone pole. And it's got a 900-pound concrete trash can protecting it. And I've watched people straight up try to go full-on ghetto ninja on that thing, right? And people are pulling the lid off, and the lid is just a 32-pound metal Frisbee. You've all seen it. And these guys are fighting with it, trying to put trash in it, trying to pull trash out of it, whatever. And it's still morning. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to put some bikes out because it was yesterday, and it was Thursday, and it was sunny. So we have all the other white people that don't worship at the Church of Green want to do some shit because they have the day off or whatever. They're taking a sympathy day, but they're going to get their bikes out and ride because it's 65 degrees. Or they're going to come to my shop and pick their bikes up and ride because it's 65 degrees. So we tend to move those bikes outside so people can pick them up throughout the course of the day, as you do. I had just pulled pooshed. I had just pooshed out.
You pooted one bike out?
I pooted one bike out. Prove it.
Your tanks weren't doing good, though.
I know, but I moved out 19 bikes, but one of them happened to be a TNT
Oh no.
135
Yeah.
in green, or as a color I like to call Benelli.
Take a picture.
Oh, Benelli.
Can I take a picture on your motorcycle?
The fuck you say? No, my friend. They were not asking questions.
Oh, no,
they
no.
were in full 100% Instagram influencer mood.
Oh, nice.
They were like, Becky. I'm gonna go. Becky, I'm gonna go sit on this bike. Oh. Get away from the bike.
Yeah.
What? Get away from the bike. What? Get the fuck away from the bike. You don't have to be an asshole. No. You were the asshole.
But I have an iPhone 13 that has portrait mode. Like we're gonna like tag your place.
We're gonna blow your shop up.
Yeah.
1 star.
If you gave me this, I would like totally get influencers to fucking acknowledge Cleveland Moto.
Roger that. And so that happened not once, but into the teens. Okay? Straight up into the fucking teens. And all I did was I spent about till noon 30, like we said, when they're about to miss the rapid, when I got a welcome respite. And they realize they get down and they've fucking blown it and they can't go to the rapids. So then they go to like Barth, the 32 or the leaking Cloddock or whatever the fuck it is. Because there's 17 of them down there. And so I'm like, I eventually get this shit situated and people come and pick their fucking bikes up and everything else. And the one guy comes in for his 2:00 appointment. He got here at 3. And he's like, man, the roads out there are deadly. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, there's a car flipped over on X road, a car flipped over on Y road. I had to do a U-turn on the freeway to just get off and get like onto surface streets. And then I ran into a fucking parade. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, this is St. Patty's Day. This is what you got. And he goes, so if it's not too much of a trouble, can I leave my car here, take my bike home, leave my car here and come back and get my bike later? No, you can't.
Yeah, sorry.
No. An empty parking lot is a happy parking lot. I don't want anything. Anybody can puke, shit, vomit, pee, whatever, hide behind. I want it gone. I don't want anything in my parking lot.
Are you fond of your catalytic converter?
Exactly. I just told him, I'm like, I just want a clean line of sight. I just want to be able to, if I have to, I want to be able to wing a motherfucker if he's hiding in my parking lot and he won't leave at 6 p.m. when we close, because we ran into a lot of that.
Did you hear the new way to steal gas?
No.
They drill a hole in your gas
drill a hole in
tank.
the gas tank. Yeah, that's not new in this.
They found it in Ukraine.
Did you see the awesome guys though? They took an old Dodge Caravan and they fucking hollowed out the bottom. So they would drive into the gas stations and park over the fucking actual filling things.
And open the tank?
And they were stealing like 500 gallons at a time. And like the one guy did it 4 times to the same gas station before the guy was like, what the fuck? And tried to catch him and they didn't.
Holy shit.
You know what? I hope those fuckers light on fire and burn 82% of their bodies and live.
How do you really feel about it?
So my record for
those guys.
My record for yesterday.
Since we're talking about fuel oil really quick.
Yeah.
I just bought 5 gallons of Rec 90 out at Strongsville.
Yeah.
$4.99. Not too bad.
That's really good. That's not bad. That's really good. So my record for yesterday, and I'm gonna get a little Lucky Charm sticker because I fucking killed 4 leprechauns yesterday. Not one pot of gold amongst them.
Nope.
Yeah.
Not one.
You never find that.
No. But I straight up had to back of the jacket escort 4 sassy leprechauns off of my property yesterday because the one guy pulled on my door so many times I thought he was going to break it.
Wow.
And this was, of course, post parade. PM, post-March. And
so they done Kegs and Eggs
I gotta
and the
pee.
parade. Yeah.
I gotta pee. Let me in.
I'm just gonna come out and look at your mopeds. You could have let me in. I gotta pee. No, I just want to look at your mopeds. No, sir, we're by appointment only. I have an appointment. You don't have an appointment. I just want to look at your mopeds. You got Vespas. No, sir, we're by appointment only today. I got an appointment. I'm like, you don't have a fucking appointment. All right, I'm just going to pull this door open. Fuck you, I'll break it. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well then I'm going to come out.
Your appointment cost $6,000.
Yeah, I went out and I had to go out yesterday. I had to go out and lay hands on people.
Pretend this is a cuckoo clock.
Yeah.
And I'm the cuckoo.
And I'm the cuckoo. Again, John used to know when we were working at the shop, I used to tell people, well, one of us is going to make it to the door.
Yep.
One of us won't. So, do you want to make it to the door?
Right.
You better start. I'm going to give you a head start. And I would straight up chase people to the door and hope, they'd got out before me and whatnot. But yeah, we've had people that we had to chase out of here because they just wouldn't fucking go, or they're being cock nozzles or whatever. And like yesterday was goddamn ugly. The third leprechaun I had to take down, she was every bit of 235.
She?
Oh boy. You have no idea. And she was in exercise and sweatpants. She had sweatpants on her top.
John shouldn't hear this.
Right. He might get erected. Yeah, he might become erected. But she was wearing sweatpants on her bottoms, and she had soiled her top, and she was wearing her friend's sweatpants as a top.
To cover up the
So she had taken her friend's sweatpants and cut the crotch open and was wearing the legs as arms and had her head going through her, kiss me, I'm Irish sweatpants. And that was where her head was because she clearly had vomited on her entire self.
I'm not going to lie. I've done that.
Exactly. But did you try to go buy a Harley after that?
No, I did not.
No, because she was in retail mode.
Yeah.
She was 100%. I'm going to get some
shopping therapy.
She came in. She was like, you got a Harley in there I want. I saw it last year. It's cool. I'm getting in there. And I was like, no, you're not. We had to roll down the roll-up door. She banged on it for a minute. She was beating on the roll-up door. I went out the back door, circled the building, came up behind her, and spooked her.
Then she needed another pair of sweatpants.
I spooked her. And I did. I came up behind her and I got right behind her and I gave her the whole what the fuck are you doing? Get away from this building. Jesus Christ, run. And I got her past the bus stop. And once she's past the bus stop, she's not my problem anymore. They don't come back at that point. Then I tried to chase her out into the street. I figured that'd be good. She could do a little Toro action out there. It'd be pretty good. Yeah, they go after movement, I've heard. Their eyes pick up the movement. But yeah, so yesterday was a fucking mess. Merritt came and picked me up from the shop.
Full-blown Brahmacon.
Dude, when Merritt picked me up, she's like, so what are we doing? I said, well, I got about 2,000 pounds of cardboard we got to take down to the recycling barrels by where I live, the recycling bins. And I'm like, we're going to Las Cazuelas. Because Las Cazuelas is amazing. And
they have the best chicken soup.
They're right by my house. I mean, they're just right by my house. So I was like, we're going to Las Cazuelas. And she goes, really? And I was like, yeah, I've had enough fucking shenanigans today. No more fucking shamrocks and shenanigans. I'm done. I'm 100% done. We're done. So we get into Las Cas, and the staff there is 100% from Tijuana to Ensenada.
Yeah, I've talked to those guys.
Oh, you know those guys,
yeah.
Yeah. I think they all went to Oscar's high school. And so we rolled in there, and the guy hits me at the door, and he goes, amigos! And I was like, yeah, what's up, man? He goes, hey, yeah. He goes, you come to find the real leprechauns? And I was like, and he goes, we ain't got nobody in the kitchen over 5'4". I was like, just no Irish music. And he's like, yeah, okay. And he's like, yeah. So we order up our food, and Merritt and I got a giant 40-ounce margarita. A 40 goddamn ounce margarita in a fishbowl, beautiful, the world's biggest coupe. It was a big fucking coupe. It was like a 50 Merc coupe, but it was big. And I said, I don't even want it to be green. So I was like, you put Grand Marnier in that son of a bitch until it shows not a hint of green. And the guy was like, gotcha. And he brought it out and it was gold. It wasn't green at all. I was so happy. And then three ladies came in. And as soon as they hit the door, they were like, it's St. Patty's Day. And my server, he goes, ladies. None of that in here. And I was like, yes, this is it. I will see you on the 4th of May. I will not be here on the 5th of May.
So do those guys from that restaurant go to like this Irish pub on Cinco de Mayo?
That's what I was
like,
right.
I don't want to hear any more, no Mexican music.
I'm not going to play La Bamba one more fucking time.
Yep.
No.
So to your point, so me and Amy yesterday went, and so our neighbor, so Phil's dad, so you guys, I just posted the Phil. So Phil 2's dad
Phil 2, right.
has decided that we were cool enough
Oh.
that he can introduce us to the Amish. So we got to take a drive yesterday, and we went and met the Amish.
So how do the Pennsylvania Dutch
can't-
like the English now?
Well, you can't call them. You can't email them. There's no website. You have to go, and somebody has to introduce you to the Amish.
Well, that's the way the world used to work.
So we walked in, and we get introduced to Eli or whatever his name. It's almost like the same as the magician.
yeah.
Right.
But it was an Amish guy.
Was he also Lebanese?
No, but he had teeth that were only this tall because he's ground them down, chewing on whatever he's chewing on every fucking day. So like his teeth were only this big and brown.
Wow.
It was kind of cool. But anyways, so we're talking to him.
He's not putting his bid in at night.
And so we're talking to him about getting wood, and because they create their own wood, like they have things, whatever. And so then I look over.
They create their own wood.
Create their own wood is the best statement ever.
That's a Rumspringen, isn't it?
No, that they actually plane it and they do all this. But
They create.
I mean, in Pennsylvania, they're known as termites because it's like they'll come in and log. Somebody will pay them to come in and log.
Yeah.
And they log that and also whatever's close.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then they take that and they make it into logs. But here's the best part.
They make it into logs.
So we're sitting there and I'm looking over.
I guess the difference is
Another cinch
orientation.
story goes off the rails.
No, but so we're sitting there and I'm talking to this guy, and this guy's, he's a typical Amish guy, and his kids are all Amish guys. Then we look over and there's a little girl that's like, has to be 2 feet tall, right?
Right.
She's smoking a pipe. And she's wearing shit where she looks like a 72-year-old lady, but she's fucking 2 feet tall and she's like 3. And
really?
So the guy's like, yeah, and all the wood, she'll be doing all the planing of the wood. And
Really?
so this little 3-year-old grabs this fucking plank and throws it into a fucking belt-driven planer, and the thing's like, "Roar." And she walks over, takes it, never takes the pipe out of her mouth, finishes it, stacks it on the thing, and goes, and blows a fucking smoke ring and puts the pipe back in.
What the shit?
And I'm like, this is awesome. Like,
As a hard girl, right?
You want to party with them.
I do,
A
man.
very hard little girl. Yeah.
So I guess the trick is, though, is you take the kids a bag of candy, and when the dad's not looking, you throw the bag of candy to the kids, and they'll fuck off into the field and get a sugar high and just go fucking apeshit. And so my neighbor was like, that's the trick.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Oh, Karen feeding
Why?
you the
Because
Amish.
then you're alone with Eli?
Yeah.
Nice. That's a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah, but this dude's hands,
Yoder.
He was 40. He was
Barely knew her.
43, and I thought he was 70. This fucking guy has lived, like, I think he's been on
You
top
should see his Facebook post about you.
of. Sure, yeah. Literally, Facebook. He drew a picture and posted it on my wall.
It was causing a
Guess what,
fucking
buddy? He's still got both of his original hips.
Wah, wah.
No, I respect these guys a lot. They're hardworking motherfuckers, and like,
Doesn't slip on dog shit coming down the stairs. Yeah.
but it was really interesting. So like, they can't use electricity, but they're allowed to use like diesel engines and stuff, right? So they have this giant diesel engine out back, and then all these belts, and these belts come through the fucking room, and they can fucking strap on a belt to something and make anything work. A planer, a fucking thing, a drill, whatever.
So did Eli have that strap on when you were there?
Oh yeah, it was just banging. It was fucking drill was like. Burr, 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 burr.
I want you to come back and look at this device.
But yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting, but like seriously, like a 3-year-old kid smoking a pipe. That
Yep,
was
yeah.
fucking pretty amazing.
I noticed that you don't have a mustache today.
It burned off from all the fucking action. Yeah.
You mean his dick broom? It's so bad.
But I haven't vacuumed my
Your
penis.
Peter sweeper.
I'm sorry, I cannot perform or I cannot engage in oral sex with you. I have not vacuumed my penis.
Oh, you dirty cocksucker.
Hey, we're gonna appeal to the LGBT community now, so that's important.
Yeah. The hell, man. So this is an interesting thing. Today, well, not today, a couple of days ago. So you guys see that I ended up with an SV650.
I do.
Right. So I ended up
VStrom.
with a VStrom.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so,
And
you
it's
know,
blue. That's an interest. I've never seen that color before.
really?
No.
No, that color is called Suzuki.
Oh.
So for the past 20 years, if Suzuki didn't know what color to paint something, that's the color blue it got.
But there's not. I can't see him be
You've
a
seen
lot.
that on GXXRs.
Yeah, but not we.
Yeah.
But like Weestrom.
I used to actually think that was called GS 500, that color. But
No, okay, I
yeah.
give you that. It's
Yeah.
a sport bike, but like what? Like I've listened. Every adventure dude that's ever wanted to be an adventure dude
Right.
at some point buys a Weestrom, and they're great bikes.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But I've been around 1,000, and I've only seen black, white, and silver. I've never seen the blue before.
Yeah, they're and they did. I mean, they did make a lot of them. So they are in a lot of different colors, but that's Suzuki blue. I've had SV650s that were that color, which the VStrom is an SV650 on stilts, basically. And I've always loved SV650s, never had a bad one. But I've only owned VStroms in a transient way. Like, I'm trading this into you today, and maybe you might get to ride it someday, or maybe because it's a V-Strom, somebody's going to walk in the door and just be like, is that for sale? And you'll be like, yes, it's for sale. By all means, buy it. And off they fuck, and they're gone. So V-Stroms have never waited around here. And even V-Strom, big V-Stroms, V-Strom 1000s never waited around here. So it was kind of a funny thing that we had a customer that came in to have his bike serviced. And whilst we were servicing his bike and taking care of his
servicing his bike.
No, that doesn't work.
Okay.
It's still just servicing his bike. If I would have said while we were engaging his member, then that would have been different. You could have worked with that. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So would you say that when
if I would have said we were just, we were restroking his shaft, you could have worked with that. All right. But if it's just servicing his bike,
Surfixing?
don't work too hard for that. You're good. It's fine.
So did he end up with a strombone?
He ended up with a rusty strombone.
You made up for my failure.
Yes, I like it. So it's funny, but while he was in having this, this Moto Guzzi, V85 TT that he just bought serviced, he goes, "You buy bikes here?" I never thought about that.
What?
What a fucking... You mean the valve works both ways? Mm-hmm. No. And I kind of was playing around a little bit because, I'm getting punchy. And he goes, no, really, do you guys buy a bike here? And I said, if it's something I like, I buy it. But usually somebody has to end up fucking a hat. But like most of the time people are like, well, I want to trade in my, Zongshen, Chang Li, fuck dog, whatever the hell, or some half broken Ducati. Yeah. Right. And so 90% of what people want to trade in here, I don't want to have in my world. Right. And you guys have all seen the good ones. Like you guys, every single person at this table has seen the bikes where I'm like, dude, just traded in that PC 800 and I couldn't be happier. Yeah. And I mean, fuck yeah, we're doing great.
You've also seen all of us scramble to try to find a way to buy whatever you brought in.
Yeah, and usually that works pretty good too. Right. But I mean, I've got some great trades. I got, Trail 125 on a trade. I got a Super Cub on a trade.
You're like the whaling boat and we're like
picking
up chum.
I know.
Throw that one back.
Yeah, it's okay. Or you just, or it's that thing. It was just like, you're kind of seeing it first. You're getting the exposure to the thing.
Damn, that's pretty nice. Holy shit.
Don't let Phil price it. Yeah. You better get it to him when he's had some whiskey in his veins.
Yeah.
Just remember, Phil doesn't always. No, I was gonna say.
Oh,
How much did you pay for that, Phil?
Right. Well,
plus
define paid. Sometimes it's a 9-way deal. Sometimes we can't figure out what I paid for it.
$12,000. That's usually the answer.
Whatever it is. Yeah. Well,
what year is that thing?
It's the 03 maybe 06.
Okay,
it's fuel injected.
So
it's
the
fuel
Schnabels
injected.
Came in around 2013.
I could run over there and know, but it's either an 03 or an 06, but it's fuel injected. That's all I give a fuck about.
So back to the story.
Thank you. So back to the story. So he goes, well, it's a V-Strom. And I go, oh, V-Strom. And I said, is it fuel injected? That's the only question, because there's only two types of V-Stroms on the planet. Yep. Well, V-Stroms. Right. There's a 650 non-fuel injected and a 650 fuel injected. You don't want the 650 non-fuel injected. You do want the 650 fuel injected.
There's also the XT, which has the Schnabel and the fucking spokey wheel.
That's extraordinarily modern.
Yeah. Well, that's like a 14 plus.
Yeah. Probably not. Anyway.
Yeah, just saying.
So I'm like, fuel injector, right? You can fuel injected. I said, how many miles? I said, less than 200,000? He goes, yeah, less than 200,000. I said, oh, okay. Oscar, what's the year on the side? 05, all right. I think its title is an 06, yeah. Anywho, the guy's super nice, brings in all cool extra stuff, soft bags for the side. It's got a gear position indicator. In case you don't know what gear you're in, it tells you in the 300-point font that you're in position 5 or position 6. But what's funny is when you downshift and go down to first, it takes it a few seconds to catch up. So you're like click 1, and it goes 4, 3, 2, One.
Ground floor.
Exactly. Everybody off. And it's hilarious. But so he brings it in and I go, yeah, well, what do you want for this? And I'm going over it. It needs tires. It's fine. The one fork's leaking a tad, what have you. And I'm like, what do you want for it? And he goes, oh, what do you give me? And I'm like, nope.
Not doing that.
See ya. Bye. And I'm like, I'm going back in. I'm like, you don't want to sell this motorcycle. And that's my new thing. Sellers have to name their price, period. If you can't name your price, you're not selling your bike. You are asking the universe what your bike is worth. You're hoping for a generous appraisal, but you have no fucking idea what your bike is worth. So that's fine. I'm not going to both educate you and give you money. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to tell you how to do your job as I'm paying you to do your job, right? That's a whole different thing. That's called training, and I get paid for that.
It might be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Be like, we start out with a base of $1,000.
Oh, yeah.
You need to tell me why I need to pay you
go
more
up,
than
right?
$1,000.
Exactly.
So what is your...
So he basically said, he goes, well, would you give me? And I was like, you can do it. And he goes,
come on, boy.
Use your words.
He goes, well, I said, what is the money that I could put in your hand right now in front of my store right this minute, cash, that you'd be like, I did good today. Mm-hmm. And he goes, well, and I said, and you didn't have psychotics come to your house off of Craigslist. You didn't have axe murdering father rapers show up at your house off of Facebook Marketplace. It's all right here in public, in a nice, clean, well-lit environment that has working plumbing.
I gave $500 off my selling my dude my FJ just because I knew him and he wasn't a dick. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, before you show up, I'm just letting you know that I'm going to give you $500 off because I know you're not an ass.
And you're not going to waste my fucking time.
Right.
And so the guy was like, 1,300. And I said, is that your final offer? And he said, yes. And I said, now, if I say yes, you are not allowed to retroactively take any of the pieces off this motorcycle.
Yeah.
Because it is famous in my shop for people saying, well, I got to get my GV box. Yeah. I got to get my...
Got to take the Olins off.
I got to pull... I've got to pull that windshield off. Yeah. And clearly, I've got to take the Olin suspension. No, oh, dude, come on. Right? No. It's exactly the way it sits. Saddlebag, whatever the fuck. That's the way I'm buying that bike. And he goes, okay, $1,300. And I went, okay, great. And I went in, I got $1,300, came out, gave him $1,300. And off he fucked.
Very fair deal.
Ladies and gentlemen, it still happens. I couldn't be happier.
Yeah.
I rode the fucking thing. It does everything it's supposed to do. It's 20% less good than a Versys.
Did you ride it before you made the deal?
Yeah, I did. I rode it around the block.
Okay.
Yeah, I rode it around the block.
You didn't buy a bike without riding it.
Yeah, I rode it around the block.
Yeah, but I heard it had
I got through all the gears.
I heard it had like 27% more horsepower than it.
Yeah. I rode it the other day.
Coming from you.
I rode it. I rode it home because the weather got nice. That's what fucking happens. And there's still salt on the roads and bullshit like that. So I was like, I'm not riding anything I own. So I was like, screw it. Let's put this bike. It's got two tired tires. And I was like, let's do it. And I rode the thing home and it ran really nice and it didn't miss a beat. It's a $1,300 bike with an $1,100 exhaust system on it. And in my opinion, that is clearly the, he put a lot of money into little things like the pannier holders and all that stuff. He put a lot of money into little stuff. And I can tell it has progressive fork springs in it. It's doing the thing, though, when the front brakes, the fluid hasn't been changed frequently enough. So you grab a handful of front brakes and it goes, it's like stutters because there's stiction. There's all kinds of things in that master cylinder that aren't supposed to be there. So I got to do that. So I'll do a bunch of things to it and I'll put different tires on it. But I got to say, drives great. Certainly better than any $1,300 Vespa I've bought in the past, 3 years. So yeah, the deals are still out there, guys.
How many miles are it?
I don't know. Not a lot. Yeah.
Well, for a VStrom, not a lot. It's anything under like 70,000. So
no, I think it might be 18,000.
Oh, that's nothing.
Yeah, I think it might be 18,000. I think it might be third set of tires. kind of thing. Yeah.
So I have a PSA if you guys want to hear it.
Oh, sure.
So, and I don't care if there's any lawsuits, you can bring it directly to me.
Okay, fair enough. Seems fair.
So about a year and 2 months ago, I tried to order some 4 sets in stock luggage supports from Bike Bandit. Okay, for $114.
For which bike?
For my Triumph.
Okay, for your Triumph.
And they didn't come, and they didn't come, and they didn't come.
Right.
And so I sent a bunch of emails, and nobody responded. And I made a bunch of calls, nobody responded.
Okay.
And then I finally just bombarded. One day I spent 3 hours waiting, and I finally got through to somebody. And she's like, "Oh, no problem, sir. Yeah, I don't know why it showed in stock because they're unobtainium and whatever." And so she's like, "We'll issue a refund. It'll be there in 24 hours." Fine.
Okay.
A week later, nothing. 2 weeks later, nothing. A month later, nothing. More calls, nothing. Call to the Better Business Bureau. They're like, "Oh, they won't respond to our calls. We can't do anything."
And this is which company?
Bike Bandit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
well,
the Bandit is in the
I was
name.
going to say, it's in the fucking name, right? All right.
But
just
now
checking.
it's to the point that it's been a year and 2 months. So it's 14 months of dealing with this. I've got nothing.
Okay.
So I called the Better Business Bureau again, and they said, "Oh, well, since you last called, we see you called here a year ago.
Okay.
We've had 5,675 complaints
Against the Bandit of bikes?
of Bike Bandit.
But they've got such a cute black Labrador.
But here's the thing. They're taking people's money and they're shipping nothing.
Yeah, I know.
They are pretty much out of business, but they have not stopped taking people's money. So anybody listening to this, do yourself a favor and just do not shop at
Yeah, I can confirm. Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Just get in on the class action lawsuit.
Yeah, eventually it's going to
place
happen.
one order. Just enough to get it on the class action lawsuit. That is, and not for nothing, we have customers that come here, and we're very generous, probably wrongly so, about letting people supply their own parts.
Sure.
And, you know, we understand people have the best of intentions. You know, if I buy the parts myself, I can put the parts on myself, and then life gets in the way. Let me take it to the shop and have them do it. And so for a while there, we would just let people bring some parts in, and we'd do them for them. And we started noticing that all the Bike Bandit stuff wasn't the right parts.
Yeah. They're just scumbags.
And I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I told the customer several times, I was like, man, I can tell you right off the bat, this is not a stator for a GSX-R 750. Right? I'm like, this is not what it is. And I'm like, and if you look at the packaging that it came in, it is not a stator for a GSX-R 750.
Do me a favor.
Yeah.
So you can look up pretty much anything on Google, right?
Yeah.
Any company.
Sure.
And what happens when it first looks it up? It gives you the name of the company and then the Google reviews.
Correct.
Do Bike Bandit.
I will do that.
Somehow they paid money.
Oh, yeah.
No
Well, that's
reviews.
called, yeah.
There's
Oh,
nothing.
yeah. There's no reviews.
There's no
Yeah,
reviews.
there's no reviews. So, yeah, for the people that are interested, it is true. There is not ein fucking review listed on their website.
Not even website, on Google.
On Google, right. On Google, there is no fucking reviews. Even on the right-hand side where it gives you the synopsis of what they are. And, yeah, there's no reviews.
From them if you don't see any reviews.
Well, but how did they do that? How did they get Google to take down their fucking reviews?
I know. Money.
I was gonna say, I can give you the
They
name
still
of
owe money to Google.
I was gonna say, I can give you the name of a reputation management company that rhymes with Oogle, and they take money. That's it. Yeah, right. So you know, in addition to your full retail premium solid gold boner package for search engine optimization here at Google or Alphabet Company, we would also like to offer you the special gold plated boner package of reputation management.
Yeah, no reviews.
Right,
no,
exactly.
Yeah,
right. Would you like to go and remove your own negative reviews?
Right.
Right. Yeah. So I think you're right.
So
you're absolutely right.
Listeners, stay the fuck away. There's 1,000 other places to get shit. Don't go to them.
Yeah, and it is consistent that we've had a number of people extraordinarily upset with what's going on there. And last year. And last year their revenue was only $35 million. So
and they only shipped like $7 worth of parts out for all of that. So, well done, guys.
Every single person got a Chinese Elite 250 speedometer.
No, they didn't get anything. And the best part is,
I wonder if it's all out on those ships that are tied up.
The ships that are just circling randomly. Yeah.
When I finally got through, because I was trying to find.
Finally got
help.
through to
Triumph.
Bike.
So Triumph Cleveland gave me a number to
the Bandit
Triumph,
of bikes,
the big the company, right? And so Triumph, the main distributor, said those parts have not shipped from any Triumph dealer in 10 years.
Wow.
So they don't. There's no way that they have these parts, and yet they listed 4 in stock on their website. They never had them. They stopped making them in 2010 or something.
Yeah. But that has been something that we know of in this industry for a long time. Is Bike Bandit is the company that will swipe your card. They'll run your card, they'll swipe your card, they'll take your money, and then they'll wait for you to complain about the parts not coming. Right. Because only about 30% of the people will follow through and complain about the parts not coming. So
but it's crazy when you've actually followed through and tried to file everything and they don't give a fuck.
No, they don't give a fuck. Yeah, they don't give a fuck. But then again, that's charlatan horseshit.
Let me ask you something as a company owner, right?
Right.
So if you have $10,150 sales,
right,
but they're all individuals,
right?
Like, what are you liable for? Like, if and then think about so maybe 5% of the people are actually going to pursue a lawsuit.
Well, Chris had it nailed. Chris said it all when he said class action lawsuit, because until you have a class action lawsuit together, I have worked with numerous companies that have put shitty product after shitty product, stuff that we knew was dangerous, out in the world, and wouldn't call a recall. It was a performance modification. And meanwhile, these are brakes that don't work.
Right.
So until enough widows get together and pool their collective life insurance money to pay for an attorney to realize that, an unfriendly number of these motorcycles' transmissions break, or an unfriendly number of these motorcycles' rear brakes get sucked into the back wheel or something. Until there's a class action lawsuit, there is some department at every motorcycle company and every parts company that says, I think we could let shit go bad for about $300,000 before we actually have to fix it.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. And or we're willing to let 21% of our customers die until a lawyer comes and tells us, or never come back. It's exactly right. And in the motorcycle industry especially, it has turned into that thing. I mean, there's this Revzilla Partzilla monstrosity, and then there's the Bike Bandit thing, and pretty much everyone else is just like, I need parts for my motorcycle. I'm like, okay, yeah, I know you need parts for your motorcycle. Do you have parts for my motorcycle? I'm like, yeah, give me the year, make, and model. Well, it's a 9014. No, it's not a 9014.
Yeah.
It's an 80 Cherry. Cherry's not a number.
It's blue.
It's a Yamaha.
Yeah, exactly. And then it comes into that. I'm like, okay, just help me out a little bit. Is it a Honda? I always start with that. Is it a Honda?
It's red.
And they're like, is a Yamaha a Honda?
No, it's a Yamamama 250.
Yamamama 250, motherfucking best dirt bike ever. So, but this is everyday conversation here at the shop, and people call and they don't know what part they need. And you're kind of like, how can you not know what you need? And then you realize they don't know what bike they have. Now, here's the weird thing. I can tell you the model number for that TV over there. I bought it 21 years ago or something like that. My brain works that way. I can also tell you within a number or two, right, the model number of virtually every motorcycle in my garage. And there's at least 20 in there, right? I can tell you without looking that this is a formerly IBM ThinkPad, now Lenovo T450. And I've had it a very long time and not had to order ein part for it. But I'm aware of things I pay money for, even when they only cost $700. I've got people that spent the soft side of $10,000 and don't know what fucking company they're sitting on.
But you don't have to memorize it. You can look at it, just like Oscar walked over and looked at it.
Exactly.
I mean, it's there at your house.
Yeah, exactly.
Walk with the phone.
And you're calling me,
Ain't that the fucking truth, man? Yeah. And that is, if you work in a motorcycle shop for more than 2 weeks, you will have no hair left, because you'll just be like, oh boy.
Can you send me pictures?
Here's one I can tell you if you want to hang up a call real fast. Can you work on my bike?
No.
Just hang up. Just stop right now. Just hang up. Hang up. Go in the kitchen. Get out a really dull butter knife and just stab the back of your hand with it once. Just fast, because it'll be over in seconds. And you can walk out. You've had a little cleansing. It's great. And the phone will ring again because they think they got disconnected. And so now when you pick up the phone, I recommend Mario's Pizza. Yeah. Because you're going to look at the phone. We look at every fucking phone. Like, we want to see the phone number for every human that calls in, and we watch it carefully. Caller ID is the most important thing we got going. And it is, for us, I'm getting a little, Oscar, What'd you do, Oscar? I don't know if it's coming through in the podcast, but it's definitely jumping in my ears.
It's not coming in the machine.
Okay, all right, good. It's just us. It's just Oscar.
That's it.
But yeah, if you work in a motorcycle shop for a week or 2 weeks, you are gonna fucking hate people, and you might stop riding motorcycles. You might. You might do decoy ducks. You might do any number of fucking strange things because you're gonna be like, man, I thought we were a brotherhood, and you're like, oh no. You don't want to be lumped in with these people. You just really don't. Working in a motorcycle shop can be very fucking challenging. And it is funny too, because when people come in and they'll walk in, they'll have their keys in their hand, and you'll be like, yeah, sure, cool. You dropping off your bike? Yeah, I'm dropping off your bike. Okay, cool. That's great. And what kind of bike you got out there? I got a Faggio.
Faggio. Oh, Faggio.
That happens twice a week.
Faggio.
Yep.
A Vaggio?
Nope. It's with an F.
Oh, okay.
Yep. It's with an F.
Like vagina.
No, just Faggio. I also have twice this week. I had people coming in to pick up their Peugeots.
Peugeots.
Yep. 2 people came in this week to pick up their Peugeots. Yep. That's true. That happens. You got it.
Senility is a sad thing.
No, Chris's bike has been parked in my shop all winter long.
Senility is a sad thing.
And Chris's bike gets the record, the award-winning record for watching people walk past his bike and pronounce it twice quietly to themselves, and then they test it one time just to see if they got it right. And it's hilarious because they're like, you can see them. You can see their mouth moving. Janus. And you're like, and you see them, they look at each other and maybe, Janus. What year is this Janus? Because they're not going to say Janus, and they're not going to say
Janus
or Janus, and I'm like,
be Janus.
Yeah.
Oh, Euro. Yeah.
Why don't we start doing that?
Oh shit.
Janus.
It's the Janus.
The J is silent like the P in swimming.
Oh my God, that's right.
Oily, leaky Janus away from me.
You're heinous Janus.
The J is silent.
You're underpowered fucking
or the Hanus.
Greasy Janus.
It's great. People come every fucking time. These people come in and they are wanting nothing
I was
more.
behind you on the highway. I saw.
They want nothing more
Jesus
than to pronounce the word.
Janus.
Jesus built my Hanus. Hanus built my Hanus. Yeah, it's fucking true. And the Benellis are great because I do get a lot of Bonellis. I get a lot of Bonellis and I got a lot of Bunellis. I get a lot of Benellis, that seems to be a very, very popular brand of bikes around here is the Benellis.
Well, Phil too was really excited because he was asking me about the bikes. He finally was hanging out in the garage.
Yeah.
And he's like, so what's the little green one? I'm like, is that a Grom? I'm like, no, it's a Benelli. He's like the shotgun?
Yes.
He was super excited about that.
Yeah, the United States military, the Marines are now getting all Benelli shotguns. So right now it's because we've had Mossberg 500s in our military for quite a long time, which is a damn fine choice. And, prior to that, different brands. But so Benelli got the contract and the Marines are getting them first. The Marines have the Benellis right now. And then they're moving on. But they have another shotgun in the military that actually is engineered to go under the barrel of an M4. So it's a little, but it's a single shot, like it's a magazine. It's got a little box magazine underneath it. I think 4 or 5 rounds. But it has a giant charging handle on the side. And it is not gas operated. It is fucking bolt action. And it's basically just to turn your M4 personal weapon into a master lockpick.
Yeah, door breach.
It's a door breaching gun. Yeah. So you basically just go ka-chugga-chugga and you go for the hinges and then that's it. Ooh. And just you never have to set down your M4.
I mean, that's fine if it's a zip gun. You're just like,
yeah, it's basically what it is. It's a zip gun. Carries 4 rounds.
Or if the zombies get too close and you need to clear the zombies.
Right. But it's barely technically a shotgun.
Single action shotgun.
It is a very, very rudimentary shotgun. But again, I am of the camp of stop putting things on other guns. Quit. I know the idea is, okay, well, I want to have one gun and it's got another gun under it and then it's got a rocket launcher and then it's got a grenade launcher.
Having a machine gun mounted to your tank gun.
That's a different idea. Yes. That's the same operating system.
Oh.
Right. Yeah, that is basically the difference between this is the difference between we had a setting for that said dance.
In gun news, Caltech
Yeah.
Sent 400 SU 2000 9mm folding guns to Ukraine.
What?
Just recently. Yeah.
Get the hell out of here.
Manufacturers are just like, hey guys, we got your backs, man. It's all
Yeah,
about
cool.
freedom. Here's 400 of these guns.
You know what?
Fun.
Good. We Merritt and I booked a couple of Airbnbs we don't plan on visiting. You fuck it, man. I mean, what the hell? And then we did. We gave a couple of bucks to UNICEF. You know, but the funny thing with Airbnb is. Generally speaking, well-meaning people that look like me decided, hey, we're going to do the cool thing. We're going to book some Airbnbs, you know, that we're not going to go to. You know, who wants to go to Kiev this time of the year anyway? But
yeah,
this time of the war.
St. Patty's Day, the parades
the
are
whole
shit.
fucking parades are shit. Yeah, the whole thing.
So wait,
Right.
so going back to that, like I think after the podcast a week ago or whatever, you were telling us about a group that you look at, and the guys were leaving to go and help.
Yeah, they're in. I mean,
So like,
yeah,
have they posted any updates or anything?
They're all feeding back tons of information. There's a lot of it. If you guys want, I'm going to give a blatant plug. So there's a former soldier that has a YouTube channel, and his YouTube channel is called Task and Purpose. So Task and Purpose. It is great if you would like to see what's happening in the military from the mindset of a military person who doesn't just post the Ukrainian victories. He also posts the Russian victories. So you kind of have a balanced report of how things are actually going, because a lot of the media here in the West is just all about the Ukrainians did another awesome thing today.
Right.
And as far as you know, the Russians are just walking through the country, dragging their dick in the dirt.
Yeah, propaganda sucks.
Right. But and that's true. So
I'm sure some people ate shit when a Russian tank came around the corner.
game on, right? Okay. So yeah, it's not all just Ukrainians just mopping up the floor with the Russians. But the thing is, so if you do watch Task and Purpose as a YouTube channel, it is a very authentic, because it's taken from, this channel is curated and put together by a United States Cavalry Scout. And so they're kind of the salt of the earth. They're almost as dumb as infantrymen. They're slightly smarter than, they know how to not be dismounted all the time. Right. So, you know, at least they can run into a Bradley if they have to. Again, give them a lot of credit. Good for them. But for people who are sitting on their beautiful warm couch here in the Midwest of America, and you want to know what's happening in Ukraine, and you don't just want to get a Fox News opinion or a CNBC opinion, there are some other sources. I do a lot of Al Jazeera and BBC, but
I found this pretty cool. It's a story about these guys. They basically were Ukrainians that were in love with Top Gear. So they had kind of a YouTube channel.
I like this already.
And a podcast where they were doing stuff and doing reviews and doing all this stuff that was very reminiscent of Top Gear.
Right.
But when all this shit went down, they were purchasing at the time before it started 3 hoopties, like a VW with 180,000 miles, and yet it was still fucking like a rocket and all this other stuff. So they took these and they put flags on them and they made them into news cars. And so now these the podcast dudes that were just basically like us.
I saw this the other day.
Fucking idiots.
Yeah.
They're running around in front of all this shit, capturing real news and feeding it to the people that need to know about it.
Yeah.
So they've become the vigilante news force, and they're immediately just a bunch of fucking idiots like us.
And the trouble too is the days of putting a red cross on the side of something, or the word press on the side of the cross, that used to mean something. I mean, we all watched MASH when we were growing up, and there used to be a little honor among that. And now if you've got the word press, it just means press your luck, man. You are fucked. Get out there in a car that says press on the side, and you are easily identifiable.
I think they just had a red cross thing. I don't think they actually said press. Whatever. But anyway, they were being sneaky.
I mean, we watched a couple of press vehicles get lit up recently, and it's unabashedly lit up.
I don't think we're used to this kind of thing, because we've gotten kind of used to the embedded press that's going in with our troops when we went to Iraq and Afghanistan and stuff. And this is we're not embedded with the Ukrainians, so there's not all this footage of all this fighting and stuff like that.
Absolutely true. Yep.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed though, because I've wanted to buy one and I'm just about ready to pull the trigger. So
on a sub 2000,
and I'm like, oh, they just dumped 400 over there, so there's not going to be any sales on them anytime soon.
Yeah, I think it's pretty funny. And basically the long and short of it is, I guess they had an order. Yeah. So they had an order that was worth $200,000, and of course the order got, because they got to buy food, or water or whatever the fuck it is, and so they weren't buying guns, not from these dudes in Florida. So the dudes in Florida were like, "Fucking ship them."
Yeah,
that's cool. I give him credit, man.
There was a lot about it too. Like it's hard for if we just wanted to gather up a bunch of guns and send them to Ukraine, it's difficult for us.
Yes, it is.
But they already have all the They were able to in 4 days. Get the approval to ship them there because they've already shipped guns to Ukraine.
Well, and especially if you're a company that's at least sustainable, like you're not going to go out of business. That is a fucking really respectful. If you believe in the Second Amendment and the thing of keeping people free and shit. That is the one. What else are you going to do? That's
the other company with the company that it's Armor or Arm Group or whatever, Armco or something that owns Gunbroker.com. Right. They sent a pallet of 1 million rounds of 7.62 over there.
Wow.
Wow.
Hey, you want to hear a joke?
I always want to hear a joke.
Here's a joke for you.
All right, light them up.
3 missionaries were in the foreign land trying to convert the natives. One day, the missionaries are walking and they were taken hostage by the natives, who then took them back to their king. The king, on his throne of bones, looked at the 3 scared missionaries, and after a long silence, the king asked the first missionary, "Death or bunga bunga?" The first missionary looked around and worried, not knowing what bunga bunga was. He replied, "Bunga bunga." 10 natives then took him, strapped him to a tree, and savagely raped the missionary and sent him on his way. The king then looked at the second missionary and spoke, "Death or bunga bunga?" The missionary stood thinking, "I don't want to get raped, but I definitely am not ready to die." So then he answered to the king, "Bunga bunga." Quickly he was grabbed, strapped to the tree, and savagely and forcefully raped by 20 natives. His ass was totally destroyed, but like the first, he was set free. Finally, the king addressed the last missionary, "Death or bunga bunga?" The missionary thought, "I can't go through life after this type of abuse. There's just no way I could live with myself." He boldly answered the king, "I choose death."
Boo.
At which point, the king quickly replied, "Death! But first, bunga bunga."
I thought you were going to say death by
Comes so the guy, so at the end, the guy says, "I choose death," and everybody goes, "Boo!" And the wise chief looks at everybody and says,
"Death,
death by bunga bunga."
All right, I got one more.
So terrible. Yeah.
One more?
Everybody knew that joke. You just
That one's been around.
Mine was root newt. That's how it wasn't bunga bunga.
Cannibal father and son. Cannibal father and son are out looking for food in the local park.
In the local park.
An obese guy comes by and the son asks, "Dad, should we eat him?" Father answers, "No, my son. You have too much fat. We'll get tired for days." A little while later, a skinny man walks by and the son says, "What about him, Dad? Should we eat him?" Father says, "No, my son. He has nothing but skin and bones. We will have to hunt again soon." After a while, a gorgeous woman walks by and the son says, "What about her, Dad? She looks delicious. She looks edible." The father answers, "No, my son. We take her home and eat your mom instead."
Now we're talking.
Bravo.
The sad part is that at this table, it would be completely reversed because all of our women would be like, "Oh, we're gonna eat this fucking asshole."
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Guaranteed.
I'd be tired for days. My wife has said that.
Death?
She's like, "If you died on me, I wouldn't be able to get you off of me. If I could, I'd die because you'd be laying on top of me. I'd suffocate." And then the other thing is her dream is to eat one of my legs. She's like, if it was like tough times and you got killed, I could like totally eat. This is like a huge ham. I could just like Piper and I could live off your leg for like a month. I'm like, do it,
John.
Do it.
John, that's true love.
That's true love.
To nourish your family.
I give myself to you.
nourish your family. Yeah.
It'll be homicide.
You know, you got to tell her though. For the next 3 years, I need to have that meat massaged perfectly so that it's ready for you when you're ready to eat it.
That's marbling, and you got to be fed with a lot of beer.
A lot of beer.
That's true.
Eat my liver because it's like.
Speaking of beer, so they did a test. So with gas prices as high as they are, just let you know, when you average out the cost of beer and stuff, most humans walk about 900 miles a year.
Right.
and drink about 22 gallons of beer. It comes out to 41 miles per gallon. So we're doing all right.
I'm getting about 13.
That's not doing too bad.
So Hoff is like reconsidering his shit now. He's like, wait a minute.
I'm more like an RV or a dump truck.
Yeah.
Hey, my kid's truck got 28 miles to a gallon today. So.
Oh, really?
Nice.
That's pretty damn good.
So is that my Nissan
for-
gets 28 too. I got 20. I'm averaging 28.
For a modern pickup truck, right? To get that's pretty fantastic. So, Merritt and I last week, Merritt and I went out and we did a little reconnoitering for our Distinguished Gentleman's Ride.
Nice.
So whether or not you want to do it, Distinguished Gentleman's Ride's coming, and it's coming on Sunday, May 22nd.
And apparently from your post, we're heading to middle of nowhere, East Cleveland to get murdered.
Settle down.
I'm just asking. 'Cause
No.
no, he posted. I'm just saying.
Don't presuppose anything.
Right. Here's the plan. But I'm going to need some help with this.
There were two cannibals in the park.
So here's the plan. The plan is I want to do a ride of the flats, but never leave the flats. But I'm going to make a passport, not a Honda passport, but that will be part of the theme. And I want this to be the small bikes DGR. We've been doing this for a very long time. I mean, anybody who knows us knows we've been doing DGR for quite a while. And we've done all kinds of different rides. Okay. And it doesn't seem like, if we start at 11, I get yelled at because it's too early. If we start at 1, I get yelled at, it's too late. Whatever. So here's the plan. The plan is we're going to meet up at a spot. And then we're going to do about a 1-hour ride of parts of the Cleveland Flats that have not been accessible for the past 20 years due to excessive gunfire or debris on the roadway. Because the Flats has actually really fucking turned a corner. And there are parts of the Flats that straight up are nice now. So Merritt and I did something that I haven't done in, ever. And that is I did a Fußgänger. I did a walkabout. So Merritt and I did a walkabout and we went in at Sokolowski's.
Oh, yeah.
And we walked around the goddamn
Is it
flats.
dead now, though?
What do you mean dead?
Sokolowski's is
It's
done.
for sale.
Okay.
And if you have a cool $3 million,
Oh, yeah. Well,
you can buy a Cleveland icon.
That's funny you did this because Piper and I just went for a drive. Peggy was like, why don't you guys get out of the house? Go
Right.
do something.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, we'll just go for a drive. We'll see what kind of trouble
Yeah.
we do. So we started off in the car. We went to the Cleveland sign overlook.
Yep.
Took the cat with us. But we did. But we ended up. It ended up turning into the seedy underbelly of Cleveland
Right.
drive because I took her. We went downtown. We went down.
this is where Daddy buys Coke.
I bang that whore.
This is where I used to get rid of stolen cars.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Hey, Chocolate Thunder. Hey, how's it going?
Sam, man.
But we
Point
ended up-
Lightning. Yeah,
Cops
come
are
on
coming
over.
up,
Meet my
cops are-
daughter.
Cops are coming up like, John, we told you, you're not allowed back here
Yeah.
anytime soon.
But we ended up down in the flats and cruising around. All the nice new stuff that's down in the flats is pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
But then meandered back,
Yeah.
past Merwin's Wharf and
Yep.
stuff. Checked out the skate park. But then the one bridge is closed, and then we kind of went on the what would be the West Bank, but then back in there and stuff. And then back over to East Bank and East Bank up towards when you get into the West 41st Street area.
You got it.
Opposite side of the tracks. I'm like, hey, that's where a crackhead threw a stone at me when I was working as a cop.
All these areas that when we used to have our shop on West 25th Street, I would bolt out of the shop and I would sneak around down in these villages of homeless, these Ewok villages of homeless people, and I would go blast through there on dirt bikes or I blast through there on scooters and just kind of be like burr, 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 and kind of rip through, and then
Graffiti everywhere.
and people living in tents, and it was where all of your stolen possessions went to go to Bartertown, and
That one place down there by the tracks is where
Yeah.
every stolen cars go to burn.
That's exactly right. But now it's beautiful. So I think that's pretty cool. Oh, there's still a couple of spots. Don't get me wrong. We're
Not where I went, but
Right.
I'm sure you found places. Yeah,
there's plenty. And because it is now, a lot of those trails are maintained and funded by your United States National Park System.
Oh, they did.
Oh yeah, so there is the trail, and One of those is Firehouse 20,
Yep.
which is right on.
It's wired on the water.
And I worked at that house.
Walk right past
That's
it.
where they had the Calabrese.
Yep.
Which was the fireboat was
Exactly.
parked there, and those
That-
guys have a
right.
sweet setup. 'Cause
Yes, they
Hey,
do.
look, we
Yep.
got the firehouse on the
Yeah.
water.
There's
We've
a
got
hell-
patio off the back with a grill, and the girls drive by. And we
It's so
wave.
cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty fucking cool.
You know what? For the people out there that have a city that's has fucked up lakefront or something,
Right.
petition to get the park service to take over.
Exactly.
Because like Whiskey
Yeah.
Island sucked.
Right.
The park service took over,
Yeah.
and it's
now
fucking
it's amazing. It is amazing.
And how many
Yeah.
things have they done? They've
Right.
taken over like a whole bunch of shit. They've
Edgewater.
made it-
Edgewater too, yeah, exactly.
Beautiful, man. They
So
did
it was
such a good
really an
job.
eyesore. It was really bad, and it was one of those things. It was an embarrassment. How dirty it was, how filthy it was, how you didn't want to go down there. It was a shooting gallery, which meant there's just dudes with heroin needles hanging out of their fucking arms, right? And it was not cool. But now it's way cooler. So here's my jam. What if we did this? What if I printed up a passport, and on the front of the passport had a picture of a passport, because passports are cool, right? And so anyway, but inside I would have 6 locations. And then I will give the people at those locations a stamp.
Yeah.
And you can get your passbook stamped at these 6 different locations. And so we'll go and we'll do a ride, and we'll do a fuck off 1 hour ride that can't be beat, that nobody will ever have to go over 40 miles an hour unless they're on one wheel, right? So they can play that game if they want and rock on. And then we're going to get together at a, what do they call it? A clusterfuck. So we're going to get together at a clusterfuck. And then
where there's lubricosity.
yes, exactly. So we're going to get together at a clusterfuck, and then people can venture out. Sally forth, proceed gaily, and they can go out and they can collect their stamps. So they can collect their stamps, and then here's my jam. I'm going to work with some of our sponsors, and if you've got more than 4 stamps in your book, you're going to be in the running for like some kind of cool prizes, like a jacket from somebody, a helmet from somebody, whatever. But if you get all 6 stamps in your book, then you're in for the big prize.
Dude, you know who used
Yeah.
to do this?
Yeah.
Do you remember
Bunga bunga.
Fantasy Coach Works? So Fantasy Coach Works on Brook Park
Yeah.
back in the early 90s. If you had a windshield wiper installed on your
Right.
car there,
Yeah.
they gave you an invite to their thing.
To their thing, yeah.
And then it would be a road rally where like everybody's like, oh, it's going to be speeding. It's like,
No.
Just hit all the places.
Hit the spots.
And if you hit all of them, your prize is
It's kind of like a poker run, but it's got a little bit more of a world
Yeah,
traveler
yeah,
vibe to it. And the
But
idea,
there's different levels. Like I like
Yeah.
your idea of different levels because
Right.
some people can't hang.
they don't want to do it
the whole day. You
Right.
know, like
Yeah.
whatever.
So then today I was approached by, see if I got his card in my wallet still. I might not. I don't know. I can't make any guarantees. But so anyway, so yes, by God, it's here. It's here. A veteran of many rides distinguished. A gentleman by any other description would be just as gentle and manly. It is Dan Davis, and he is the director of external relations, as opposed to the director of internal relations
That
at,
gets you pregnant. You don't like that.
For Yannis?
at the Crawford Auto Museum.
Oh, nice.
So what they said is they'd like to help out a little bit, and since it's a Sunday event, Dan came up with a great idea, and Dan said, "Okay, well, if you're going to start the event at 1, right? Why don't we start a thing? Because the Crawford Auto Museum opens at 10.
Yeah.
So like, why don't we do a thing? Why don't they have food trucks at the Crawford
Yeah.
Auto Museum? You can go there. We'll make it a stamp. So we'll make it a stamp, and then they have food trucks there. You can go get a snosh, a nosh, a blintz, whatever you got, and then you can go in and see the fancy shit at the Crawford. They got more motorcycles now, and they're doing another motorcycle display. Then after you've had your dose of, because you're dressed up,
You need a bong and a pancake.
cheese and a blintz,
Oh,
right?
so
A smoke and a blintz,
Yeah.
right? Then you can go because you're already dressed up. And look, why not go to the Crawford Auto Museum? It's fucking fancy, people.
it's cool.
That's some fancy shit. That's fancy shit. They got racing airplanes and everything in there.
Yeah, the shit when Cleveland used to have racing airplanes.
It's really cool.
fucking
And you can
cool.
learn about stuff. So, and they got a bunch of motorcycles. So go in there, get some good food, go in, enjoy it, and then show up to the stupid party I'm doing
Yep.
at 1 p.m. called the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride. And then we'll send you out into the flats for an hour. Well, we'll go ride. We'll go ride with each other. It'd be awesome.
But the
It'd be
important
great.
part is
Yeah.
you're on your own time.
Right.
Last time it was like
Yeah.
meet here and you're going to spend 3 hours with us doing this,
Yeah.
which kind of sucks if you don't have the time to do that.
Well, and historically, with the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride, the entire thing that we've done for now 12 years or whatever has always been, we're going to meet up at a Porco, we're going to meet up at a whatever parking lot.
Sterley's.
It was good. Look, I have no problem. And we've done, there was the 1 year too, we found a spot that was in the flats that was right by St. Malachi.
Yeah.
And it was just down the hill from Malachi. Yeah. And I was like, wow, this is never going to work. And it fucking worked great.
Is that where you blocked off the roads?
We blocked off the roads. Yeah, it was great. It was cool. But it turns out like we'd always just kind of get together and then everyone kind of walks around with their dick in their hand or says hi to friends and meets people. And then eventually, we fuck off on a big ride. Well, this way it's going to be more like, okay, it's 1 o'clock. You guys are coming from a cool event, meeting up in the flats after getting some culture and getting some class and riding on the way to get there and riding from the Crawford Auto Museum to the flats. Pretty badass.
So are you going to have like at 4 o'clock or something? Are you going to have like the awards? Like everybody
I'm
meet
so
up
glad
here?
you asked.
Right.
So the point is that once you are at your 1 o'clock, so once we do our 1 o'clock ride and we go and ride around and stuff like that, and then we meet back at wherever the hell we're going to have our hang be. So
I wonder where that might be.
It could be anywhere, honestly, because whether or not staff meals happening can make some bearing on that.
Okay.
So we'll see if that works out. But in any case, when you come back, you can, Renee or Merritt had a great idea. It was like, just take a picture with you and your passbook and your bike.
Yeah.
And then email that in. So you can go home. You can go mow the lawn. You can keep your wife happy. Do whatever it is you do on Sunday that keeps you, alive and well in the whole deal.
Or wake up underneath your Vespa.
Or wake up underneath your Vespa at 10:38 p.m. on a ride that started at 10 a.m. Right? So this idea would be that you could go around at your own pace and you could collect these scavenger hunt type locations and just take a picture of you and your bike and your fancy shit and just, and if you can't do a selfie, if you don't know how to do that, find a homeless person, give them your camera, and then say goodbye to your camera.
And there's so many good reasons why that's good.
Yeah.
Because one of the biggest flaws of group rides is that, like, I'm sure anybody that's been riding for more than 5 minutes has a group of people they're comfortable with riding.
Yes, exactly.
But then you get these people that don't ride the way you ride, and it becomes very dangerous to ride with all these people.
I think John and I discovered that apparently the maximum duration that people can hang on a Phil Waters engineered ride is 95% of the ride.
Right.
And then when there's only 5% of the ride left, or maybe 2% of the ride left, that's when we start losing people. That's when we get people crashing into shit and trying to go left to center at cars and Toro bullshit. But like,
you either get too confident or you're too or
you're just tired,
but you're also getting tired.
Yeah.
And so since it's like an on your own kind of thing, does that dispel some liability from the
I don't get, honestly.
I know you don't care, but I'm just saying,
but I don't care.
I think it might,
you know what? I don't care. And DGR likes the idea of a short ride.
Right.
So we're going to finally, we're going to give DGR what they wanted, which is staying within the city center.
Right.
We're going to give DGR what they wanted, which is a shorter style ride. But the idea is we're going to have ancillary events. So the idea being that you going to the Crawford Auto and Aviation Museum, meeting up there, and then coming in, what is that? That's a mini ride.
Right.
And what kind of a ride is that? That's a sober ride. And what kind of ride is that? That's a Sunday at 12 noon.
Well, and also, since you know it's not going to be 50 miles or something,
right?
I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have a bike that they're like, I know this bike can make 20 miles.
Yeah, and that's what we got a lot of.
That's what I just said to Steve.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got that old CT90.
Yeah.
And it's just been, it needs a little bit here, a little bit there, but maybe I could try to dust that off. And
but you'll risk it if you know it's going to be 15 or 20 miles.
And the point being is in this ride, it may be 15 or 20 miles, but you're never more than a mile away. And so the idea, so Merritt had this great idea. What if we made the ride go from the top of the flats? Because the flats is a bowl.
Yeah, right.
So we go to places around the top of the flats so that if your bike ever dies, you just go downhill.
You just go right down the toilet.
Yeah.
And where do you think you're going to find us?
At
the
bottom of the bowl. So that's what Merritt's idea was like, you just set up camp at the bottom of the bowl.
Way down there where the brush won't reach.
Yes. Merritt's like, if we set up base camp at the bottom of the bowl and we make all the targets.
That's pretty cool.
And John's the tidy bowl man with the plunger in his hand saying, look, please don't drop those big back bombs on me.
The fuck is that?
So I think that the idea, so what we need is I need a little bit of crowdsourcing. And my little bit of crowdsourcing is I need people to tell me because as much as I would like to go to every bar in the flats, I need to know which ones are open on Sunday, give or take 11 to 1.
Right.
Brick and Barrel.
I know.
Open on
so
Sunday.
we know that I did check on Brick and Barrel. I checked on Brewdog.
They have a room in the back, and they have a patio in the back.
Right.
That's hilarious. Piper,
Harbor Inn.
We went past Brewdog.
Brewdog's parking lot could easily put 400
There
bikes
was
in it.
one place that was sipping and.
I thought they went out of. I thought they already went out of business, and they're.
Well,
Brewdog?
Yeah,
No, dude, it's big.
I think somebody. I thought they just said somebody bought them out.
Don't
Is that the
forget
one with
about-
the like?
No,
the,
you're thinking of Thirsty Dog over there.
oh, that's the one that went out of business.
Yeah.
Okay, Brewdog's still in business, and that's like.
Brewdog
yeah,
is back
Brewdog's
in there. I
over
don't know
on,
how
like,
they're going to get
Scranton.
business.
Yeah.
Unless they're just seriously
it sounds
Okay,
like
so-
making beer and bottling it and selling it because like
I'm going to have to open up Sleepy's $10 Miller Lite stand, fucking on the corner of something.
a little
The
wagon.
the thing that works good about Brewdog is Brewdog has a ginormous patio that's right on Collision Bend, and there's no shit without
activities.
Yes,
And there's activities.
and there's activities, and without even telling any member of their car parking lot that they can't park there, the driveway going in is wider than it needs to be, which we could line bikes up, and literally where we would be lining the bikes up is in the shadow of the terminal tower. So it's a good photo op.
Plus, there's like open land right around.
There's open land right around there too. If you want to shenaniganize your shit, like if you want to be like, look at me, I'm going to go do wheelies in that field that's full of rebar and broken glass. Right. There's plenty of that. So that's really a fun opportunity too. And maybe, just maybe, people that are of the dirt persuasion, you off-road assholes,
Bike life.
some of the people that we know in our group that have done the DGR for the past 12 years know of all of the illegal's a strong word.
Discouraged.
Not public.
Off the beaten path. Alternative routes. So some of the alternative, as what they would call in England, they'd call it the green lanes.
The organic lanes.
The organic lanes of the flats. So maybe, just maybe, when it comes time to bust out and go off and sally forth, that you might be sallying forth with a group that might be able to show you a thing or two.
You might be taking the rapid tracks.
The rapid tracks, exactly. Because I can tell you there's a few places that are a hell of a lot of fun to ride a small bike down in those flats. And it would all be done on a Sunday. It would all be done while wearing the finest of finds.
On any given Sunday.
On a particular given Sunday. But it would be hilarious to do a distinguished gentle ride where you could be like, well, so we went and we saw some museum-y stuff, and we did some drinky stuff, and then we did some scavenger, like ridey stuff, and then we did scavenger hunty stuff, and then we rode our bikes on motocross trails in the city of Cleveland in the flats.
Right.
There's a hell of a lot to be had right there. And I think that before they finish the Thunderbird project, which is going to really, that Thunderbird project is really going to blow out a big portion of that area where I posted up. All of that's like 16 or 20 acres that is all going to be.
If we saw a sign that said Thunderbird.
Yeah, so that's all going to be in a very high-end luxury housing thing. So let's do it now while there's still a lot of renegade mentality down
I
there.
can't wait to tell Piper, like, you know all those places we
Yeah.
were driving around?
Yeah.
That's where.
Let's go ride some bikes.
That's where the
Let's go ride some small bikes. And I don't care if you want to bring in your fucking Hayabusa, you want to bring in your G. Willikers Glide or whatever the hell you got.
You know what I'd like to bring?
Yeah. Your snowmobile.
My ST125.
Oh yeah. Hey. I thought that was just vaporware. I thought that wasn't going to be available in the Americas. Hold on. Wait a second. Now that's the DAX.
Yeah.
Right? So the Honda DAX 125. Because we've had.
Wait, are you talking a new 2022?
Oh yeah. No, my friend. It's a 2023.
23, yeah.
Yeah, 2023.
Due out this summer.
Yeah, it's the 2023.
Are you going to tell them?
My stiff sock got
You can tell them the story.
My stiff sock.
You can tell them the whole story.
I showed Steve this and everything, and I've been waiting because I knew they had to come. You weren't going to come out with the Monkey and the CT125, and
We've been talking about this for 2 years.
they
You know
weren't
what,
going to
though?
not come out with this. I've only just been waiting.
Right.
And then this just dropped it. They dropped it at the Tokyo Motor Show.
Yep.
I think it's getting released in Thailand and maybe
But
the
they
Asian markets.
fucked
it's
it up.
It's not hitting Europe. No, they didn't fuck it up.
They did.
I'll comment.
We'll talk about this.
I know
That's
you
what
have to
we're
say
here
about
for.
that. But
I'm just glad somebody's not talking about the Navi for one hot second.
No.
All right.
No,
I have 3 on order, but but then I showed Steve, and Steve was like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah.
And Steve already wants to get another monkey and everything,
Right.
so he got on the horn with a couple of the different local, On the Edge in Illyria, and
Yeah.
then Sills.
Yeah.
I pronounced it right, Steve, not Seals.
Seals.
But we're on the waiting list of both of those. A brief conversation with us produced that they think that there's going to be about 500 that drop in America this summer.
Yep.
And that if they get them in, we're second in line On the Edge, but we're first in line at Seals.
Nice.
And the guy had mentioned that they come in a 2-pack in the crate.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Can confirm. Yeah, can confirm.
If there's a blue and a red one, Steve gets the blue and I get the red.
So I love it. And
You heard it here first.
Yes.
And I want it. But here's the thing. Why did they put the low fender on it like all the Chinese clones? So they cloned a clone.
Yeah,
basically.
but some of the CTs actually did come with that. The DAX in Europe came looking like that.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's the same fender that's on the Monkey. And you don't know. Maybe when they bring these into America,
Right.
that might just say Honda like they
Exactly.
did on the old one. It might not be a DAX.
And that's the thing
And
about
it might have a high fender. And
Right.
we don't know.
In our
But I'd
country-
be just happy. But I do like that little hot dog on wheels on
that's
the
the
ST120.
That's the
Yeah.
Dachshund. That's the Dachshund.
We could keep the Dachshund.
In our country, we never got the Dachshund, but the Dachshund was a lot of other countries got the Dachshund, and they got it a lot longer than we got the Trail. And the parts, if you want to know where I'm okay and I'm sticking with you on, first is the oval air cleaner.
Yeah.
So the oval air cleaner harkens back to
really good.
our
Looks
the real jam.
Everything's good except for the fender.
Yeah, the front fender does need to be.
No, everything is not good except for the fender, the seat.
Oh.
The
The
seat
seat-
looks like it has a seat cover right from the factory.
Yeah, it does.
They did
Yeah.
put Honda on the back of it,
Yeah.
but it's a totally like they didn't put any fake stitching or any
Right.
piping
Oh,
or
really?
anything.
Yeah.
It's just it looks like
Straight?
A seat. It looks like a seat cover.
Yeah, and
But
that's
maybe that'll change. You don't know. Like,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, look at the Monkey. The Monkey had like a good seat, right?
Yeah.
The stitching and everything
Yeah,
else.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
You don't know what you're actually going to get until you
Right.
actually get it.
That's right.
But I'm
Yeah.
100% down. I'm all for. There's no hold bar.
No,
That looks really good.
that
Think you'll get it
definitely-
by May, though?
I'm at take my money. Unless for some reason it comes out and it's a lot more expensive than what the other bikes were, but I'm
Right.
hoping it's like in the $4,000 range.
Right.
that's what I think it'll be.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
If
so
it's
too.
about $4,000 out the door, I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Ice Bear did these awful champions. And the Ice Bear champion, it is very much a trail.
Yeah, it's
you
the
know,
original.
yeah, the Ice Bear
125.
Trail but it's 125 cc, and it is truly a fling poo. But I mean, it does have. I mean, it's not great, but it has the folding handlebars. It has the small seat with the rivets, and it's got the little tiny wheels. Whereas the Docs has got the 12-inch wheels.
It's way bigger than an original one.
It is.
When you see somebody
Yeah.
on it, and it's the only one of the mini moto series that's actually meant for 2-up.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Did
it's
they
true.
keep a 5-speed and everything on it?
No,
No.
this is supposed to get released with a 4-speed auto clutch instead of a 5-speed manual clutch.
Yeah.
But you have to think, maybe in a couple years they'll come out with the H model that is green
Yep.
and has the
right.
5-speed with the manual clutch.
Right. And that's exactly what you're hoping for. What you want to see,
Oh, is that
the green. Okay.
the new versus old or something?
No, well, this is the Trail. So this is the PBZ or PBZ 125. And so that's another clone of the venerable Trail 70.
But when I say the H model, the old CTs
Yep.
70s,
Yep.
they came out with an H model, which was a 4-speed with a manual clutch for a
Right.
little while.
Yep.
Well, most of them were a 3-speed with a.
And that's the one
automatic,
everybody
right.
wants. When you're at a swap meet, you're looking for that clutch lever.
Right.
You're looking at all the handlebars in a row, and you're looking to see that handlebar that has that clutch lever on it. And then you run up to that bike because that's the one you want to buy.
Right.
Yeah. And
But I'd be okay with the 4-speed with an auto clutch on
Yep.
that because then it would also be accessible to maybe my wife
Yeah.
and daughter.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yep, you're
We've
right.
had a couple of these Ice Bear, PBZ 125s come through the shop, and everything on it, just the fucking workmanship on the thing, the metallurgy, everything about it was just garbage. And I was like, part of me was like, okay, we can talk to Power Sports Warehouse. We can get a motor for this. We can get a modder like a Piranha motor and fix the motor problem.
But then you're already in for how much?
It doesn't matter because the rest of the bike was garbage.
I've
And like
seen pieces,
everything
parts of
on
them
it.
at Mid-Ohio and stuff, and it was like, oh, wow, look at that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, wait, what is this? And then you realize it was a Chinese clone.
Right.
And you're just like,
Yeah, they slapped a Honda sticker on it. You
at
want to punch
$20,
it
I don't even want this because
No.
it's not worth it.
Yeah.
No, and we looked at them real close because, there's a point where I've got enough customers that are kind of like, oh, wait, I can buy a Trail Buddy or, whatever the fuck, they're Gorilla or, different companies have different names. And there's many of these companies that are doing this in China and bringing these in. And I've seen electric start 125cc motors with, like you said, with a clutch, without a clutch and everything. But goddamn, you get up close to them and they are shit. I mean, they're just fucking awful, man.
Well,
So,
I see this way Steve has ridden his Monkey. So
Yep. Yeah.
I know that the Monkey is got to be damn near indestructible. I mean,
Yep.
we took it up in New York and there was no holding back. I mean, it was just like old school Hondas. You could keep it pinned.
The
the time.
Benelli was doing so much better with this.
all the time.
The only thing that actually failed on it was the chain.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's got a chain, a tiny little thin chain like this. I wish I could put a wider chain on it. But
Yeah,
then,
there's a 420 conversion, dude.
there is?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, then maybe I'll do that.
Yeah, you should.
Because that chain is just not
Yeah.
going to hold up. And the rear wheel wore out too, but that's
Yep.
because my fat ass was on it. So, I mean, what do you
And
expect?
if you guys want to do it, if you want to jump the shark, I will tell you that, again, our friend Jack, his company does the bike that I tried getting in because this company called Sky Team,
Oh, yeah.
Sky Team does so many Honda tributes. They
And
really do.
They do the Van.
They do the Van.
I've always wanted that
Yep.
motherfucker.
So the Sky Team company has done a hell of a job. And so they do, it's called the ST for Sky Team, the 125-6. And if you are going to buy, if you're going to purchase something that's like this, give our friends at Wholesale Cycle a call because Jack will set you up. And I have looked at these and these are legit. And as much as the ice pairs that I've laid my hands on were not great, it does appear that Jack's being very careful about what he's bringing in. The other thing, too, about dealing with Jack is Jack is going to be able to tell you, okay, this is the 125 motor that comes in it. You want to go apeshit crazy? There's this. There's these 6 motors that we know work perfectly in this bike. You want electric start? Fine. You want a big carb? Fine. You want 75, 80 miles an hour? Jack will set you straight. So if you call him, I have had nothing but a good experience from Wholesale Cycle. They've been in business a very long time. And if you didn't want to wait for the docks, you can get this. Basically, this is the size, though. This Sky Team 125 is a Trail 70 size bike with the folding handlebars, with everything you like about a Trail 70.
I have one of those.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. With the 125cc motor. And it's a good bike. It's a good build. It's not going to be the Honda docks. It's not going to be the fucking Jewel like my Trail 125, my Super Cub. Look at any part of those bikes. Yes. They're fucking art.
Well, John's old one, like
Yeah.
what was it, 1980 or something?
82.
82?
Yep.
That thing, like the torque and the motor,
Yep.
like this thing, like he's like, I haven't started it in 3 years.
Yeah.
Like it's smoking
Yeah.
and doing all this shit.
Right.
And then you hit the throttle and the thing pulls through like with any of our fat asses on it.
Absolutely.
Or 2 of our fat asses on it.
You got
just
it.
fucking pulls through anything. And so like, that's the difference. I don't think the clones can actually pull that off.
Well,
No,
Nick-
you're absolutely right.
Nick put that 140 motor in his,
Yeah.
and he was riding it around, and I brought my passport, and I'm like, just ride by 70.
Right.
And he wrote it, and he's like, wow, that engine is really good.
It's a
in
really good motor.
There's something different
Yeah.
about a Honda engine than there is about a clone engine. I mean, not that the clones are necessarily bad.
No.
No,
But-
the SSRs. I mean, like those 125 motors, and they've got something going on for them.
No,
I
that's
think-
a good
Well, that
engine,
might just
so.
be gearing. I think is a lot of that. I mean,
You know what a lot of that is? We've tried to break those bikes.
Yeah.
They haven't broken.
No.
So that means that somebody at SSR gives an honest fuck about what they're doing. They're going to pay an extra couple of bucks for the metallurgy. They're going to pay. Look, I work on bikes here. We work on bikes every day. I've had bikes come in that have their first 1,200 miles on them, and the valves are already touching cotton. I mean, the valves are already as tight can be, right? In 1,200 miles. And we did those valves on those SSRs. They're not. They're fucking great.
And to John, so John's credit, he told me that he did some research and that the CFR 50, everything fits.
Everything
on
fits,
the thing.
Yep.
So I was on eBay looking for something else.
Yeah.
And because eBay knows how ridiculous I am, they presented me with this thing. It was like, it was literally $45 for plastic, stickers, and a seat. Right?
Yeah.
For a CSR
right.
50.
Yeah, the whole deal, right?
So I got it, and the shit fucking fits. He's absolutely
You did the full
right.
dress-up kit.
The whole thing.
Yeah, the full dress-up kit.
Now it even looks, it's more, because like the plastic on a CRFR 50 is slightly smaller. So like the SSRs, they made it bigger to make it look more proportional.
Yeah.
So when you slap the 50cc CRF stuff on it, it makes it smaller.
Yeah.
So now I definitely look like a monkey fucking a football.
Totally.
Yeah, but it is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Anyways, to his point, if you have an SSR and you've broken the plastic, any of the eBay CRF 50 shit will fit 100% on the bike.
Yeah. It's just now.
It's ridiculous.
So now that we've admitted it, so now the first person that shows up with one of these at Mid Ohio.
Oh no.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. Then you get the Hero Asshole Award. Yeah. It's awful. It's awful. But it is
I can see
exactly.
that barrel racing for
Yeah,
about,
that's a barrel.
for about one lap.
That right there. That is a broken leg. Right
Unless the 3 or 4 girls in the unicorn.
my God.
The unicorn girls are on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the unicorn girls are on it. That would be a fucking train wreck. But I did think that was hilarious when I conjured up the Sky Team 125 trike. Yeah. That's a bad idea. And at least they did put real forks on it. So there's upside down forks on the front
The
of it.
Sky Team Sherpa though is dope as
The
fuck.
Sherpa
I
is
still want one of
badass.
those, man.
Yeah. The Sky Team Sherpa is not fucking around. That's a very cool bike.
I came so close to when I was buying the Grim.
Wait, like a Kawasaki Sherpa?
No. It's like an RV90 but with the 4-stroke.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. The
And
Sky Team
it's,
Sherpa.
yeah, it's really good, dude. And like, there's not a bad review. Every fucking review of this fucking bike is like, this is a great bike.
It kind of feels like Sky Team puts at least a little bit of effort into their stuff, making it right. They make many different flavors, CC wise, So,
What about licensure?
What about licensure? What do you want to know about licensure?
Well, if I buy one of these, will I at least get a certificate?
You're going to get an MCO, and what's probably going to happen, and that
They're street legal. They are. You can get a title.
Yeah. Well, okay.
No, the Grim. I got the MCO.
No,
I took it to there. They
right.
gave me the fucking. They said, okay, where's your bill of sale?
How would you describe the MCO that you got? Was it a document that was had the name of the dealership you bought it from?
Yes.
Yep.
So it had the name of the dealership because, like, I think I got the Grim from Power, like you said, Power Sport, something, whatever.
Yeah. Wholesale
So
Power
the
Sport,
bike
right.
came, and then there was no title or no MCO, and I was like, oh shit.
Right.
And then I called them freaking out, and they're like, oh no, it'll come in a week.
Right.
And then a week later, I got a thing that said the Power Sports, whatever, MCO.
What do you
blah,
have
blah.
there, Phil?
Yeah.
And then boom, and I was able to get a title. It was no big deal.
That's so a lot of the Chinese bikes, if you buy the Chinese bike from, Slappy's House of Chinese Bikes, I suppose, right? So if you buy the bike from Slappy's House of Chinese Bikes, many times the MCO is actually printed on the cardboard box.
Oh.
And you have to use a razor knife and cut the MCO out of the side of the
I can
cardboard
see that.
box.
I can
And
see
we've had a lot of them come in that way that were exactly that.
Is that a Sky Team product?
That is a Sky Team Ace.
Ooh.
So it is the Honda Dream 90.
Yeah.
So it's that 6-speed Honda Dream that they did for a while. They did a 50cc and a 90cc Honda Dream. And Sky Team, being Sky Team, being what they are, they decided that they were going to have it be,
Wow.
an Ace. And so the Sky Team did the Ace. And yeah, you can order it. It's real. It exists. It's not vaporware.
How much is that thing?
2,100 euros, about $2,700 US. If you can find somebody going to sell you one, but this is one of those things where I've always been a fiend for, the Honda Dream racing motorcycle. And these are very pretty. I mean, they're just very, very pretty bikes. And again, it's not the right size for me.
No.
Yep. It's not the right size for me, but it is a very pretty bike. And it's almost one of those things where you're like, okay, let's just call it what it is. It's fucking wall art, And they never got distributed here in the United States. You have to do a little sneaky stuff to buy one. But they this guy, it's called this guy Team Ace or Ace 125 custom. They're around there. You can find somebody bring one in. That's probably the best picture I could ever find to show you how I look on the motorcycle. That's kind of authentic. When we were in Atlanta dealing with the guys at Cobra Power Sports, and they do the Super America Cobra cars, and they were also the U.S. distributor for the Sox Mad Ass. When we were hanging out with them down there, he's got a collection of the actual real Honda version of this bike. And so while we were down there, he's showing me he's got like fucking 10 of them. And they were 10 grand when they came out brand new back in the day, and nobody should have ever paid that much money for them. And so he's like, "You want to take one for a ride?" And I was like,
"Yes." Always yes. Always yes.
"Can I?"
Yeah, right.
And he's like, "Yeah, go ahead, take it for a rip." And I jumped on the thing, and yes, it was exactly what you think. It was a 15,000 RPM. Yes, exactly. Perpetually in the wrong gear if you weren't pinning it off the rev limiter.
And
right?
it did what, like 40 miles an hour?
Yeah, it was very much like driving to go get that pizza. Again, Grand Theft Auto 2, 16-bit edition.
Yeah.
Never below 16,000 RPM, never above 35 miles an hour. Right. If you saw me or heard me coming, you would think it was fucking Le Mans. And then I go back, you're like, still going.
Well, that's, it's funny.
Yeah, it's game.
So I was sitting there today. It was, it's been beautiful the last few days.
Oh, yes, it has. Yeah.
So I took my lunch hour and I was sitting on my stoop, just kind of sitting there having lunch, looking out. And I heard this Harley.
Yeah.
And it was like, brr, 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 and then it passed my house like this.
Oh, yeah.
It was so much noise for nothing.
That right there's the next Cleveland Moto bike build-off bike, boys.
I want the stand.
There you go, boy.
I'll buy that stand.
I think, before we leave tonight, I'm going to show you something I got in the back.
I sent you the fucking picture of the standals, the little lift that I...
I know, but it won't work for what I'm looking at.
All right. Yeah.
I should have got that woman's number. Never, you get a number. You don't just say, "Hey, call him." Don't give a number.
No, don't give a number. Get a number. Absolutely. And then ping it at your phone right then and there to make sure it fucking works. So yeah, that Sky Team Ace is one of those things that you're like, yeah, someday I'll buy. And it is probably one of those things is like, I'm going to have to run into a situation where, I get the right phone number from the right guy in Thailand and just be like, can I get 6 of those?
Or you find it at Mid-Ohio on Thursday.
That would never be at Mid-Ohio.
You don't think so?
No. You can't buy them here.
Oh. Well, there might be a guy. There's a guy.
Basically, what you have to do is you got to be that guy. Like, you got to wait until the whole shipping thing settles down.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of things in Mid-Ohio that you can't buy here.
That's true. But yeah, I would definitely say that with this particular thing, I would be very fond of the idea of having 6 or 7 or 8 of those.
What is the displacement?
125 centimeters cubic. Yeah. And
but it acts like a 50cc.
Yeah, it's got all the speed and fury of a 50, I'm sure.
I spend a little time looking at what's available. If you go to Honda or the Big Wing, which is what's available to the Indian market.
That's right.
There's a lot of fantastic little bikes. I'm like, why doesn't Honda just throw a couple our way?
Because NHTSA... Yeah, no,
We're never going to get a CG 150.
Yeah, so in order for Honda to say,
Wolf made it
or an Africa Twin 250,
Wolf made it in, right? And Wolf made it in because Wolf SYM, right? So SYM, using the distributor they were using at the time, said, okay, it's going to cost us, this non-family motor, this non-family engine, this non-family bike. This is a Trailblazer. It's the only, it's the only one of its kind that's coming in. It's not like they're bringing in a GTS and then a GTS this and a GTS that, 17 different versions of the same family. This is a clean sheet thing. So a small company goes, boy, if we could sell 2,000 of those in America, that would change our whole spreadsheet. And Honda goes, if we sold 2,000 of those in America, that wouldn't be a bump on our fucking invoice sheet. So to a company like SYM selling 2,000 of these...
That wouldn't be a wrinkle on my ball sack.
It wouldn't be a wrinkle on my ball sack, right? So take a look at this. Now, Steve, I understand that one of our podcast listeners called us,
Adam,
reached out to us, right? And said, hey, I'm trying to sell my wife's scooter, but while we're talking about podcasts, talk about the experience you had with him.
So he said he had this sim that he wanted to get rid of, and that's been bouncing around through a group of his friends for a while.
Yeah.
And you gave me his phone number and his address, I think, or he gave you, you contacted him. And so I gave him a call and I said, I'd be happy to buy it off you.
Right.
Because I'm a big fan of Sim. I'm a big fan of Sim Wolves or Wolf Classics. And so, what?
Nothing. Go ahead.
So anyway, I contacted him and he graciously said that he did not want anything for this bike. And I still feel guilty about it because it's exactly what I was looking for. And it's a very comfortable and fun bike to ride. So today, I called him yesterday.
So big thanks to Adam.
Yeah, big thanks to Adam. And I invited him to be on the podcast if he's ever in the area. And he said he's...
Do it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I called him yesterday, and he said he was just going to leave it out for me. And my son and I rode to... he lives in a... sorry.
We woke Steve up for this.
You woke me up for this, but we rode out to College Station where it's kind of past where Penn State is, and we loaded it up. I left him a little goodie for his generosity.
Tin cup.
A little tin cup, which is one of my favorites.
That's a good booze, man.
Yeah, and Patrick and I rode home, and he slept probably 90% of the way. And it was.
You can always count on Patrick.
Yep.
and when we were on the turnpike, we just got back into Ohio, and Adam calls, and we had a really nice conversation about the podcast and how he listens to our podcast, and he said something like, when you called me and I heard your voice, it's like I knew you for 4 years.
Oh wow, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And
well, he knows that if there was a sim in the United States that needed to go to somebody that loves Sims, there's literally only one dude that has professed his love for Sims the entire time.
I love Sims, so I'm ecstatic. So the first thing I did is I got home and I worked on it, and
you
I got it
cleaned the
running.
hell out of it.
Yeah, well, no, I didn't clean it anything. I didn't do anything.
Beautiful.
He must have cleaned it for me. So I don't know, but I worked on the engine and I took it out and it's running, really well right now.
Yeah.
So what is the bike, Steve? It's a Sim. What?
Wolf Classic 150.
So it's 150. So this was a Grom before Groms came.
No. This is a Honda CB125S.
Okay.
This is a Honda CB125S, or what they called in a lot of markets, they called it a Honda CB125 Super Sport.
But what I'm saying is this came out before the Grom, and all the Grom people are like, oh, this is the best.
This came out in 1978.
This bike did?
Well,
the original Honda.
Where it came from.
No, but what did this bike come out in?
Oh, SYM Wolf. It's probably been sold in various different markets for 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah. It has absolutely, there is nothing about this bike that is anything other than a I was going to say non-Japanese market, but they do have, I think they are available there too. This is just a Honda CB125S.
But is this still, so Steve, all Sim motors come with the ceramic?
This one, this one is, I don't know if all of them do, but all the ones that I own come with that ceramic lining, and also the ones that I buy are from Taiwan.
Oh, okay.
Because some of them, and it's also certain years, because certain years are built in, like the Simbas.
Right.
The first year, I think, the 2010s, when they first imported it, they were from Taiwan.
That's right.
But then they started making them in China, and the quality just went into the toilet. So I think you have to really... I like the Taiwanese Sims because they are all the quality of Honda, I think. All as good as quality of Honda, and I love Hondas anyway.
Well, yeah, no, but like when you brought this in, like you were telling us about it, and then you sit on it and you touch it, And there's nothing cheap. Like the metal is not pop metal. Like it's like legit. Like
It's not a Honda, but it's a pretty good quality.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
it's not a Honda, but it's close.
Yeah. Yep. And looking back, so I was able to do the world's quickest Google search. I got distracted by this picture, and then okay, all right, hold on, I'm back. So, but then I look back, and so the Honda CB125 SS, it kind of starts around 1967.
Well, be careful because there's the SS125 Twin, which is super cool bike.
Yep, it is. Yep,
I want one.
Absolutely. But as you go through, what you will take a look, and you'll see.
Now I want one too.
Right. Yep. Yep. There's a CB125 Super Sport Twin. Yep, that's it. But in
that was not what I was thinking.
It almost looks like a CB175.
Yeah. So, but when you do get into the 70s and 80s, that's when you're going to pick up the
Similarities
overhead cam, the overhead cam single cylinder bikes.
So that's like a slant. That's a slant. That one that slope 125
right there.
Twin.
The one I'm talking about is a sloper. So
Yeah. I don't know I'll have to look and see what John's picking up on. But you mean like this one? Do you mean, John? Like this very dreamy looking one?
that looks like that's a 160.
And this is and this one is this is a really good example of a 1967 Honda, and that's a parallel twin. So, but then when you get into these bikes, and when you get into the CB125s, especially in the 70s and the 80s, that's when you're going to start seeing the K2. So
look up Honda SS125A.
that's the A. Yeah, that's the one you're looking up. Yep.
The A's were the.
Steve's pulling his glasses.
That's
up.
a beautiful bike.
Yeah, that's the SS125A. So.
Look at the motor.
Yep. So that's you can tell the SS. So if you're ever looking at SS125, not a CB125, but an SS125, it's got a monocoque chassis. Yeah. So the frame is a monocoque chassis.
The motor is like a sewing machine. Like
it's literally,
you start it up and it's running and it's just going.
Yep. Very cool, badass.
Kind of like a
twin.
Toyota Century.
Yeah. But that's the SS as opposed to the CB. So when you get to the CB125, and then the CB125s came as various different versions of a CB125. There's CB125K, whatevers. But that's what this is. So this is where this came from.
It's fucking cool.
Yeah. And when these first came out, Merritt and I jumped on these bikes, and I was on a Royal Enfield 500. It was the first year for the unit constructed engine, fuel injected 500. I had on one of those, and Merritt had on one of these, and we pointed them west, and we rode from Cleveland to Detroit. And we held the bikes, both bikes, we held them at 70 with occasional gusts up to indicated 78-ish to 80-ish, as traffic dictated. And we made it all the way to 8 Mile Road. And so we got off because that's where both bikes, this is hilarious, but both bikes hit reserve. The fuel light came on both bikes within 500 feet of each other. Wow. And so Merritt was on the Woof, and we call it a Woof, W-U-F-F. Woof. It's a Woof. And so Merritt was on a Woof, and I was on the on the Royal Enfield C5, and her low fuel light came on, and the gas tank on this is considerably smaller than a C5's gas tank. But this gets considerably better miles per gallon than a C5.
Oh, it was made for you, Steve.
Yeah. So as we're rolling along, Merritt's like, "Oh, my fuel light came on," and I was like, "Yeah, it's because your gas tank's so." Oh shit, my light just came on too. And so we both had to pull in at the exact same gas station. So since we were doing the test, we pulled in at the exact same gas station, and we both took the exact same amount of gas. Oh my God, they did. Both bikes, so the C5 Royal Enfield and the Woof, took exactly the same, because I'd figured the tank on the C5 would be way fucking bigger than the tank on this.
Got a lot of hump in there.
It's got a lot of hump in there, and the C5, the fuel light would come on when you still had 40% of your gas remaining. Whereas this thing, when the fuel light came on, you probably should be 30 or 40 miles away from a gas station.
You're lucky to even have a fuel light on something like
Again, also true, can confirm. But so yeah, that bike does have a fuel light, and they're cool. But yeah, they are an item that, in its home market, it originated as, I hate to say it, but like It's an Asian market tribute to the Honda CB125. Cool. Yeah.
So I just wanted to go back just to touch on a couple of things that I talked to. Since Adam's an avid listener,
yes,
well, he does have 7 bikes.
He does, yeah.
And eventually, if he's on here, I'm not going to describe his bikes because they're a nice collection of them with a lot of history behind them. But he could do that when he's here and able to do it himself. But what he was saying was that he likes this podcast because he feels that they're sitting in the room with us. Like that he feels like he's sitting in the room with us. And that's really how we hope, I think everybody feels. Yeah. And they're sitting in the garage around, surrounded by bikes or just talking bikes and just life in general.
Well, I think anybody that's come to Mid-Ohio and sat or any of the other things that Phil has been to for years or anybody, if you're there, you're pretty much doing the podcast anytime you're hanging out with us.
Yeah, I was going to say, we are a tribe of motorcycle idiots, whether or not we're recording.
Right, yeah. 100%.
So it turns out the conversation's fucking identical.
Always.
The only difference is, in this one, I'm trying to maintain some discipline to a microphone, so we have, a quality.
Well, the best part, so moto stories, right? We just dropped Oscar's birthday, accidental birthday extravaganza. Where Renee
did you know any of that was coming?
No.
Shit, really?
No,
I didn't know it either.
Good job.
That's why I was. I mean, the surprises. Yeah, that was great.
Look,
but
for the people who don't know,
right?
Honestly, you don't know,
right?
46 years old.
6, yeah.
We thought, so 2 podcasts ago, we're like, we should get together and do a podcast. Oscar's birthday. We should do it at Porco.
Always. That's
always. And Oscar was like, solid idea. Well, that was Renee's whole idea. She came up with that whole thing. Great. Well, then John calls me. And John calls me and goes, hey, I got a line on a magician.
Well,
and then it started with,
I want to do something special for his birthday.
Yeah.
What do you think about getting a mariachi band?
in which I was like,
he wouldn't be offended by that. I wouldn't want to pull a mariachi band.
No, he said, that's what he said. He goes, would Oscar be offended if we called in a mariachi band? I was like,
he does like mariachi.
I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Oscar would be over the fucking moon if we got in a mariachi band. And I was like, we can teach them Smith songs, but they already know them, right? I was like, we can teach them some Morrissey, but they already know that shit. Yeah. So we made a concerted effort.
And we got one, but it was a little too pricey.
It was...
Maybe that might happen some other time, though.
Yeah, it was half of a V-Strom. So to get a mariachi band to show up, it turns out those outfits are kind of pricey.
Yeah, for
there's multiple dudes.
Midwest,
You got like 5 fucking guys in that.
Well, they had to import them. So, no. But,
well, you're cutting them 4 or 5 ways.
Yeah. And aviation fuel's up now, so...
But then, I'm like, well, what about a magician? Because I know you kind of like
I fucking love magic. Yeah.
The dark arts and picking locks. And stuff like that.
I like the dark arts. Oscar loves the dark arts.
So I was, I just quick Google search and I found this guy. I called him up and like, I'm like, that's how much? That's how much? Wow, that's good. We can do that. So, and then
he was awesome.
So we had that laid in, and then I told this guy about it. And I told him about the search for a mariachi, and then that's when he came up with Gusto.
Yep.
Gusto.
Gusto is
Gusto.
I don't care what you call him.
Sabert. Gusto Sabert.
Tell us a little about him and how you came up with him. And
when I used to ride with these other guys, we used to stop at like random places, and he was playing one night like 15 years ago or 20 years ago, and his music is so good. I mean, he's very talented.
No, he's really good.
He's really good.
Yeah.
Flamenco guitar, what we call that, or what?
He was everywhere, dude.
Well, it's not to say a flamenco guitar, but he also is like one of those guys that figured out how to like bring a looping station and the thing. So it's like not just him; it's a band,
right?
But it doesn't sound cheesy.
I kept looking for the band.
Yeah,
there was no band.
No,
It's really well done. Yeah.
So I've been following him for like many, many years, and he's actually singing at my daughter's wedding too.
Oh, cool.
But anyway, I thought he would be perfect for that.
And he was.
That was good.
And thank you for like Phil and John. Paid.
It was an awesome Thursday night at Porco.
It was
amazing.
Fucking amazing Thursday night.
I hope those guys enjoyed. I mean, it wasn't.
Oh no, many people were like, if you guys ever want to do that again, we're open. Just letting you know, because it was the heavy hitter of all heavy hitter Thursday nights at Porco, which we've always joked about when we do the podcast at Porco. We accidentally did it on Friday night a few weeks ago, and it was very crowded, and it was tough to do it in there with the amount of staff and with the amount of people that were there. But this worked out fucking perfectly. Because we had the podcast room. We were able to run as long as we could. The funny thing was, it was the one time ever in the history of this podcast that we said we were going to launch at 7, and we goddamn launched at 7.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Do you know why?
Yeah.
Because 6 of the people knew that the magician was going to be there at 8.
Yeah. So we had to.
So the reason we got off without a hitch was because everybody else was like, if we don't get going right now, we're going to miss the magician.
Yeah.
Right.
He's here at 8 for
He's
an hour.
here at 8. And the guy showed up, and he's like, what the fuck
And
is
then
going
he
on?
sat there and I was like, get the fuck out of here, dude. I was this close to you. Like, can you step outside, dude? Because there's a
that
camera
would've been
right there filming the whole
hilarious.
fucking
Right.
thing.
We're getting your back, pal.
So my favorite part though. So as we, obviously we do the podcast. We also do Moto Stories, the YouTube channel. And so I just happened. I was like, okay, fuck, I'm going to film this with this shitty fucking GoPro, whatever, and whatever. But the best part is that we touted.
Black and white.
Yeah, but we touted the whole thing about Moto Stories being like you're there in the bar with us, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm filming you doing whatever, but then halfway through the night, Phil is just being Phil, and then accidentally in the middle of your birthday thing does a Moto Stories episode because he's just talking like he's just doing what he does.
But that's what we always do.
And you're telling the story that 90% of the people are like, I don't believe this, and then Steph walks by and he's like, oh yeah, no, that was there, that would happen, and then you're like. So that was perfect. It was fucking perfect. I'm sitting there with this dumb camera, like, please record all of this. Like, this is fucking good.
We got the birthday Oreos. We got a magician birthday Oreos.
Did you like it? The
My birthday.
The birthday Oreos.
I got one text
There was
message.
dancing.
I got a text message. They were like, you spelled birthday wrong. I'm like, did you hear how he fucking pronounced it?
Right. Trust me, it was
It's the
accurate.
right way. Yeah.
Then he had the creepy footage through the plants.
They didn't notice. I did. I was like, you motherfucker.
So if anybody is ever questioning the parentage of the Sim Wolf, that's a 1972 Honda CB 125S. 1S, not 2S, 1S.
Yeah.
And you can see it's the same motor, it's the same everything. The only thing that's different is the goddamn drum brake, right?
Right.
Yeah, so it's
the
that,
fenders
and
and
it's very clearly, so going back all the way to 1972, and this particular machine, and it's not like SYM was like, we're going to make a tribute to Honda. No, it's that the whole planet wants to keep buying the Honda C125S, and SYM is given a license from Honda to make it. So if you're given a license to make a bike that has sold 3.9 million copies,
Keep doing the same
you
thing.
make it, and you keep making it until you wear out the tooling. So until the tooling wears out, you keep making the same fucking bike, and there's the same fucking bike. So that's pretty cool for anybody who has a Sim Wolf out there.
Steve,
We're giving
what
you
year is
you a
your
little
bike?
I have no clue.
Well,
I
it's
mean,
right
there's a
fucking there.
number.
You can literally
Yeah.
look
There's
at
This
it.
fucking
I mean,
sticker.
right. I mean,
you
yeah,
stick your head over there like 2 fucking feet.
yeah.
Why don't you stick your head there, bro?
Oh, now you make Phil get up.
We were
right.
just talking
Phil's
about the
eyeball.
people that don't know what the fuck they're writing.
Well, like 2010.
And then-
I'm gonna
Right
guess.
here.
And
it's
right there.
here.
I'm gonna guess it's
Right
a
over
2010.
Right over here.
Man.
Well, friends, it's a 2015.
2015.
So it's way younger than I thought.
Holy shit.
15. That's only 7 years old.
Holy fuck,
Damn.
dude. You got the king of all deals.
And the good news too is it's probably not stolen because the VIN plate is still there.
It's not scratched up.
It's not scratched off. So usually, dead ringer for your ass when they come in and you're like, okay, well, there's where the rivets used to be. Yeah.
Definitely, listeners, don't steal bikes and give them to us for free. That would be terrible.
Yes. We had a customer.
Please, no.
We had a woman call us the other day and say, hey, I've got a Lambretta from 1956 that I have a title, and the title for my bike comes back to your shop. And I was like,
What? My shop wasn't in 1950s.
I probably would remember selling a 56 Lambretta. And but what had actually happened was, in the course of buying a lot of parts, I ended up with some titles.
It happened.
Random titles, right? And so James, being an ever vigilant shop manager that he is, took these genuine artifacts that looked like the shroud of fucking Turin, right? And took them and went to the title bureau and said, oh, we own these now, and actually got them made into real titles, not just like yellowing documents from
Current
the 60s.
titles,
current titles. Yeah. And so James got them made into current titles. And somehow the universe aligned where the guy that had sold me a couple of bikes with a title or two that didn't match either. The left sock didn't match the right sock.
But most of the parts on it were the titles, right?
Well, somebody else had got from the same guy's stash the bike that went with the title.
Oh, yeah.
And so this woman who has a couple Lambrettas, she had managed to get title from source A and bike from source B, and they matched. Wow. That fucking never happens. Yeah. So she called me. She goes, this bike must have been bought at your shop. And I'm going through all my records. I'm like, no, ma'am. Sorry, no. She goes, I have a title that says 2019 on it. Whoa. And I'm like, I would have remembered that. I mean, I drink a lot, but I would have remembered a 1956 Lambretta from 2015 or 19. And so James immediately goes and he pulls up a copy of it, because we keep copies of every title. And he's like, yeah, man,
yes, we own that bike.
And that was when, yes, exactly. And I was like, wow, what are you doing with my bike? Because the title says that it's owned by ClevelandMoto, right? And excuse me, ma'am.
I don't see a notary mark.
Have you ever heard the term receiving stolen property? But no, we're nice people, so we transferred the title for her. We got it all set up. Cool. Yeah, that's nice.
You know what? It's nice to know that one more Lambretta out there with proper paperwork or
that doesn't
no
run.
Shit.
Paperwork.
Well,
that doesn't run.
Well, come on, look at if you
and it will sit around for about 3 or 4 years, and then it'll come back here, and she'll be like, you know what, you guys, you can just take this.
She's got
it's already on your name.
She's got a Series 1, and this is an LD, and she's got the Series 1 up and running and everything else. So this LD would be her next project, and so yay. But the idea of joining joining a title to
cool.
a bike is pretty fucking cool, man. Yeah, without calling Joe Casola. Saints title, Joe Casola. Look him up for all your title needs. Yeah. Who needs to have a green license plate from Vermont when you can have an actual Tennessee title from Joe Casola? Yeah. For all your title needs. So I don't know if you know this, but our friend Jackie Van Ham has been killing it with her motorcycle program. Yep. So again, this is it's very hard for her to do anything that I don't like. She's genuinely a nice human being, and because she has an amazing knowledge of motorcycles, and she also has the right personality, the right go-getter attitude. Jump on a BMW 1800, fucking ride the piss out of it, doesn't matter.
And she's not fake.
No.
So through the podcast, I got to know her, and I friended her through Facebook.
Yeah.
She's the type of person that, she had a Dodge van that broke.
Yes, she did.
She took the transmission out and fixed an automatic transmission on her own. And
if it only broke once.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But I'm just saying,
it's a Dodge. It's like every 10,000 miles.
That's true too.
No, but the cool part is that she's not just a pretty face talking motorcycles. She's an actual wrench too.
Yes, she is, and all of the above too.
Yeah.
So God love her, and so this is one of those things that you guys, if you're into motorcycle stuff, if you like doing very, very cool motorcycle things. Look up Jackie. Her name's spelled funny, Jacqui, Van, and then Ham. Yep. The delicious, the sweetest of all sweet meats. Ham, right?
Or just a cute pet,
Jackie Van Ham. Or exactly. Or a cute pet, exactly, if you're into that.
So speaking of names and things,
we
talked about awful motorcycle things, which we won't mention again. But then there's companies like Revzilla, which we kind of like.
Yes.
Did anybody see what they did this week?
Nope, did not see it.
They did a whole expose on fucking Skidmark Garage. And they promoted the fuck out of it.
Good for them.
And they did the whole thing about the history. It wasn't just a hit piece where they talk about it a little bit.
Right.
They dropped the whole history, how it grew. The whole thing. It's really fucking a good piece, and it's on their main website, and they promoted it on all their social media.
Fucking great.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Seriously, I mean that's one thing. We're here in Cleveland. A lot of places, a lot of people have tried to do fucking motorcycle co-ops. Mm-hmm. A lot of people have absolutely gone after it and I'm going to do a motorcycle co-op, whatever. they have done it. They have built it. It's stood the test of time. It stood the test of 2 buildings.
And they broke up Moto Go and all the other stuff too. So they're bringing all the classwork and stuff. So it's really like I posted on their thing. I said, hey, all of us at Cleveland Moto, we support everything this fucking guy does, and thank you for putting that out there because it's really cool that you did that.
And I do want to bring it up. It's the program's called On the Throttle. On the Throttle with Jackie and Josh. Yeah. So On the Throttle with Jackie and Josh. That's one that, again,
it's great. It's really a fun watch.
It's fucking hilarious. It's fun. It's got a lot of good information. I enjoyed listening to it. That's it. I like maybe 3 motorcycle blogs, and I had such a good time listening to Jackie and Josh tear it up. So that's cool. Moto Go, absolutely cool. Teaching stupid children about motorcycles.
And there's even more about it.
Yeah.
They get there at 5:30 in the morning before school, and they're stoked to be there, and they do it.
And that's the difference. Stupid children can be saved.
Yeah.
You just need to put a fucking wrench in their hand. Yep. You need to pull them away from whatever thing they're doing that's not helping society. You know, if they're chaining their blocks and minding their crafts and all that crap that the kids do, and literally go, look, here's a motorcycle. These are innately sexy, fun, and weird and exciting. Wouldn't you like to take one apart?
You take the 9mm out of their hand, and you put the 10mm.
Nice one. Trading 10mm for 9mm. That's fair. I'll give you that.
That'd be a good T-shirt.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah.
Wouldn't you rather have a 10mm?
Take the 10mm, leave the 9mm. As a mechanic that works on strange old Italian bikes, I do need that 9mm. I also need the 7mm.
Well, that should be a shirt. What's the meaning of life? 10mm.
Yeah.
When you can find one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I don't mess around too much with 9mm.
Don't start looking at Russian trucks because that's too sexy. Hit the brakes. We can't be looking at
my buddy Stoney.
No Russian shit right now.
My buddy Stoney's up in the Great White North, and Stoney Smith does all kinds of cool stuff. And he's a true fucking Renaissance man. But like Stoney's one of those guys. He's like, oh yeah, you want me to make a motorcycle around this particular engine?
Wow.
Not a fucking problem, right? Yeah. So Stoney's the man. So if you ever want weird, he's got a shop called Oddball Customs, and Oddball Customs does beautiful work. But yeah, that's one of those fun things. You get, and again, it stays cold up in Ontario for quite a while, and so you get some shop time. Yeah, and he's not afraid to work in the snow and work in the cold and stuff. This is he does products that are particularly cool. International Harvester Metro van. Yeah. When was the last time you saw one of those running around? And of course, it's not broken. That's where it sits. Oh. Yeah.
That's low.
That's what Stoney does. That
is low.
Yeah, that's what Stoney does. Stoney
My wife
puts
almost sold my Scout today.
Oh God, really?
Guy knocked on the door and was like, "Hey, what's up with the Scout? Does anybody want to sell it?" She's like, $1,200. It's yours.
What?
Yeah, because the other day I saw your Scout, but fixed, going for absurd amounts of money on Bring a Trailer. Right now, it's really easy to tell the millionaires in America just go to Bring a Trailer.
Yeah. So my
he took one look at it. He's like, "Oh, that's a lot of work."
my dad had a plan, and my birthright inheritance should have been a '67 RSSS Camaro.
Right. Yeah.
Nice.
In 1984, my mom tried to drive it and left skid marks everywhere.
Yeah.
So the neighbor kid from her dad's area in Harvard Park, she drove the car to there to visit her dad.
Yeah.
And the kid was like, I will give you $2,000 for this car. And she was like, sold. And she sold the car for my dad. And I didn't get my inheritance. And he almost divorced her for life. And then the kid cut it up and made it into a drag car.
Oh, really?
But so wives can do weird shit like that. My mom is fucking evil. She sold
every super classic car that ever existed, somebody chopped it up.
I had to just told him he could take it. And I'm like, honestly, honey, if you did that and I came home and the Scout was gone, I wouldn't hate you.
You know the cool move? Like the bro deal would be like, John, somebody came by the yard today and said they want to sell the. I'm not going to tell you what I sold it for, but I put all the money in Piper's college fund. And John would be like, okay.
And you can have some of this. That's just evil, man. You can have some of this.
That's just evil.
Hey, if she breaks out the Fufkula,
right?
James bike. He bought a
So James bought a 72 Nova. Yeah. Yeah, it's a 72 Nova.
No go. He's like,
He's a
why don't you
no-go,
want that
yeah.
fucking thing?
Yeah, James got a 72 Nova. It's yellow.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
It's yellow. Yeah, it's good from far from good. Yeah.
Oh, really?
No, it's nice. It's fine.
Because the pictures looked really nice.
It is
looks good.
really, really nice. Yeah,
It's
and
not a project. Let's just put it.
no, it turns keys and it turns keys and goes. So it is a fully functioning running car. It's beautiful.
What happened to his Fairlane or whatever the fuck the other
So he's
El Camino.
got a no. Wait, there's a list, John.
thing? Yeah.
So he has an El Camino. The El Camino got, I think, sold to Sparky to be fixed. I'm not 100% sure what's going on with that. But in any case, the El Camino's not exactly gone. Okay. So the El Camino's not exactly gone.
Didn't he have a four-door or something?
He did have a Galaxy.
That's it. Galaxy.
Yeah, he bought a Galaxy doing a favor to a friend. So he got an old Galaxy somewhere, somehow, whatever. So yeah, so he's got that Galaxy. And I don't know where the Galaxy is at this point. I don't know what's up with the Galaxy.
Right.
It could be in a galaxy far away.
It needed love, though.
It needed all of the things a Galaxy could ever need.
right.
It's the right color for James. He likes the yellow.
He likes the yellow and black. He's a big
Wasn't
fan.
it like his Lambretta?
His Lambretta was Columbus Crew colors too. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there's a good. There's a nice
Look at
picture
that
of
sexy
the happy camper, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's a gorgeous car.
That's a slimming car. It makes him look very slim.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, but it's got all. It's like it is exactly the right car. So it's it's a 350. So a small block 350. It's got a TH350 transmission in it. It's got a really extraordinarily loud fuel pump in the back.
Oh, good.
Because it's electric and modern. That's exactly what it sounds like, dude. It literally, it's not a mechanical fuel pump. When you turn the key on, it's like, and I'm like, it sounds like one of my old cars that had air ride suspension, and it's going to pump forever. It's just never going to get up to the right level ever because they leak, right? But that's what it sounds like. Is you got a leaky airbag in the back or something.
If you have air suspension,
Yep.
if you can have it turn off everything, and smear it with JB Weld,
it'll
hold for
a
4
minute.
years.
Ah!
No.
Oh, for 4 years?
Oh, yeah. I sold a van with that fucker still
Good
holds.
job, man.
Yeah.
Good job. It's got a proper rally hood on it. The hood's a real hood. It's all metal.
Yeah.
That's nice. This interior's fucking gorgeous.
Is he going to start racing Street Outlaws?
No, he's not going to start racing Street Outlaws.
I know.
Right. But it is one of those things where
It's not making big horsepower.
No, it is, but it's very nice when you drive it. It's it's got today's version of a double pumper on it. It's got a modern carb. It's modern carb. Very funny. Yeah, but it does have modern carb. But yeah, it's got secondaries. You kick it in the ass and it does things. It's fun. Makes all the right noises. It does sound fantastic. It does go when you stomp on it. What kills me about this car is fucking snug. Like when you go around a corner, no part of it is like squeak, squeak, clunk, 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 clunk. Like whoever did the suspension on this, there is not one worn out bushing. There is not one worn out kingpin, tie rod end, nothing.
And it doesn't like all those Novas used to be like
everything in this car.
Drive down the road sideways.
Suspension.
Well, it's not urethane though, because when I did my race car with urethane, if you said it was like like squeak so
like
much.
my passport.
Yeah, it's really, really nice, and it is really, really nice. The only complaint I have about the whole car, if I were to have a complaint about the car, is somebody put a ridiculous amount of money into restoring it, like mechanically making it good. Yeah. Not restoring it, making it mechanically reliable, putting good suspension, good transmission, good, like everything's good. Got great brakes in it. Like it's a really good car. But then the problem was somebody they drank with was like, so what color are you going to paint it? Because I think it was orange. It was like a really dark yellow orange color originally. And I don't know what color I want to paint it. Paint's expensive. I want to do it right. I can paint, right?
Oh. He got a sleepy job. I'm just kidding.
Well, there are parts of this car that haven't been painted.
Oh, nice.
And there are parts of this car that I've never said this before. There are parts of this car that got one coat.
Oh.
One coat. And it was a coat that was like a drive-by shooting.
No clear, nothing.
90% thinner.
It's really, somebody wanted to make that paint go a long way. And so the only bad part of this car is there are many, many parts of this car that when you are closer than 10 feet away from it, You could be like, did the guy just run the gun dry? Like,
Oh, it's got some orange.
there's places where there just aren't.
Thin.
Ins paint.
Yeah, thin is the best possible word. Yeah. Thin is the best possible word.
Well,
you know where when it's like, okay, well, what color are we going for? Okay, we're going for this color yellow. And they're like, okay, well, in order to get that color yellow, it takes 2 coats of color and 1 coat of clear, right? And okay, well, what if we only did a half a coat of yellow? There you go. That's what you got. And so, unfortunately, this really, really beautiful car, and the company that was selling it didn't say, okay, we're going to use 40 pictures to show you how good this car is.
But at the end
20 of them should be of the flaws in the paint.
Right.
They shouldn't be 40 pictures that ignore the flaws in the paint.
But if you're starting with a hot rod that has good suspension, good motor, good wheels, good bushings, good everything, and you just need to paint it, you're ahead of the game by a lot.
And that's how I can tell how old you are. Because in your brain, a paint job is still $89.95 at Earl Scheib.
No, it can be a couple $1,000, but still.
Because a paint job
Couple thousand,
on that,
right?
I was going to say
way more than that.
Well, dude, for
Shit,
25,
the paint was more. It's going to be more than a couple $1,000.
Hold on. But listen, I know a lot of paint dudes.
I know a guy, and that's how we got into this fucking mess.
No, but I know a lot of. I
do know guys who paint that for $2,000.
No, that's what I'm saying. So I know a lot of professional paint guys, and I do it myself.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: James is not a schmuck. If he wanted to really have this repainted, if he sanded that whole car with 800 and got it prepped, took off all the fucking badges, took all the shit off, and handed this guy a
I agree. I totally agree.
And that's exactly why James bought this car, is he didn't want to do any of that.
Well, yeah.
So when James bought this car, the reason James bought this car, the reason he spent what some people make in a year to buy this car.
He wanted to go and have ice cream?
It's because he wanted to go and have ice cream with his dad. Right? Yeah. And so the idea was you spend the money, you don't have to repaint the car.
Right.
And so this car was sold to him as being a car that was freshly painted.
Oh.
And the point is, whoever sold that car didn't say that it only received half a paint job.
Is he unhappy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and so he's gonna, he's reaching out to the company to say that this car was misrepresented.
Company.
Yeah.
So
this is not a private seller. This is a company
shop or something like that.
And so this is what I guess. Okay, here's the thing we'll talk about. If you want to have a street rod, and you don't want to build your own street rod, and you've said, I have a $30,000 budget to buy a street rod. Well, are you going to go on Bring a Trailer? Are you going to go on Hemmings? Are you going to go on one of these sources that we know sells street rods and buy a single street rod, one single street rod, one single car on an auction? Fuck no, you're not.
No.
If you're going to do it, you're going to go, okay, because of Hemmings or because of Bring a Trailer or because of Auto Trader or whatever, I now know about this car. So let's just say I'm looking for a 62 Thunderbird. I'm fond of 62 Thunderbirds. I might be aware of a car because of one of those sites. But then I would have to jump in an airplane, fly my fucking ass out to wherever that car is, and then spend 9 hours under it with somebody I'm paying money to who is the god of 62 Thunderbirds. And he's going to tell me everything that's wrong with that car. And I'm also going to be there in first person, high resolution, human eyeballs going, okay, you want $30,000 for this car.
Because what's an extra $800 or $1,000 when you're spending $35,000?
That's exactly right. That is exactly fucking right. Because I come from a culture when I was a kid when old men in my neighborhood valued their hours of sandpaper time at 50 cents an hour. Right. And primer was damn near free. Okay. And I can't tell you the times I sanded and reprimered things that my dad had sanded and primered because it just took too long to get them into the paint booth. By paint booth, I mean the backyard garage with the wet floor and the tarps hanging.
Right.
Okay? And we painted it with a Kirby vacuum cleaner. But they do work. Yeah. But anyhow, in today's time...
A paint field out in Oberlin at some point.
Yeah.
A generator runs a compressor and applies fucking... Rust-Oleum.
Yeah. Well, the paint job on this car looks like you took one of those $5 car wash, like put your quarters in car washes, and you guys went in there on a stealth mission and said, okay, here's my Harbor Freight paint gun, here's my Jenny, here's my air compressor, and you got a quart of paint. all right, guys, we got, it's 3 a.m.
Did they use the Easton roll-on primer?
I
Have you
don't
seen
fucking,
that?
I know, but look.
You roll it on and it lays flat.
Lays flat.
supposedly.
Honestly, I just did do that to the Scout. I'm like, just to make it all one color.
To make it all one color.
Fine roller, and I used the Rust-Oleum rusty metal stuff.
Did it flatten out?
I mean, okay, but what I wanted was the build. Because
Right. You need the-
to roll it
right.
on, so
Yeah.
now you've got a good build. You wet sand it, and you're not going to be instantly wet sanding.
You
it
got
back
3
on.
mils of paint right there. Yeah, you got a long way to go. But here's the point. The point is, when you go to a shop and that shop's business model is we're going to buy cars and we're going to make them pretty and sell them to people that don't want to build their own cars.
Right.
And they'll deal with actually getting it where it's supposed to be for selling. Yeah.
So when you do that and you have a business and you have a car lot that's called, Steve's Supercars or, Marty's Muscle Cars, and every car in there is a 1966 to 1977
Don't lift a finger
Ford.
at cars.
Right, right. Well, the idea being,
You think that guy should have a guy that for $2,000 will put a nice paint job and pinstripe it, and every one of his cars that goes out has a fresh, decent paint
Because
job.
think about it. So when you're at this level of car, right?
Right.
Like if you got the car that James got and you paid a shit ton of money for it, now you're not happy.
Right.
But for a little less of a profit, maybe $1,500, that guy's going to take a hit on.
Right.
And now that thing has like 3 coats of flood fucking clear
It just looks
on
great.
it,
Yeah,
and
it
it
just
looks
looks great.
awesome.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to have an issue. Even if the fucking brakes go out, if the fucking car is pretty, dudes are going to be like, I don't give a fuck.
and
It
that's the
looks
thing
great.
is,
All right, so let me ask.
Yeah.
So James has got to have some recourse on this.
well, we don't know yet
Well,
because I'm
but-
not James.
But if it's a company
Right,
that took his check or whatever,
right.
There's going to be opportunities to call them to.
We would hope, right? And so
I mean,
that's
did the marketing
regular
say
court of
like showroom fucking paint? Is there any kind of fucking literature where it says
has
like,
he made the first phone call?
and thank you for bringing that up.
Has he talked to them yet?
Thank you for bringing that up because a lot of people in the world are averse to confrontation. And a lot of people in the world are like, look, man, you know
wait,
what?
the guy that lifts like things and throws them at people and stuff doesn't like confrontation?
Hey, man, you know what? I'll call them up. I'll see what they want to do. I'll let them know. And, we'll see what they want to do.
Yeah.
Right?
I would start the ball with a civil conversation. First, I would say,
Right.
man, I'm really excited about this
Yep.
car. I
Yeah.
took it. I drove it.
Yeah.
I love the way it runs. There's
Right.
lots of things I like about this car.
Right.
Only problem, and here's the however,
Right.
I don't know about this paint.
Right.
I'm looking at places. This is not the level that I expected.
Right.
Right.
I didn't get, your pictures fell a little short. I mean, like, here's my pictures I'm sending back to you. Why wasn't this,
And just start talking
sweet
about it.
but
Yeah?
firm. Like you want to be sweet
I-
but firm.
Yeah.
I
my
just want to
dad.
let you know I'm disappointed.
Right.
And I want to know how you feel about that, me being disappointed.
And how can we work together? Now that I've sent you a very large amount of money, how can we work together to make this better? And I think that's any person that receives any product anywhere should be able to do that. There's also a hell of a lot to be said for, man, if you buy
I
something.
feel like I'm going to have to pay to get this car repainted. And
No,
and that was not the. And the whole purpose of me buying this car
Was not to
have a turnkey.
I got a 66 El Camino in my driveway already that needs painted.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have a Nova that needed repainted too.
So I
know?
mean, I don't
Yeah.
know what we have to do here for restitution. I mean, if I could just do hey, you take the car back.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah.
I agree.
Car back.
Yeah, I agree. And that's a big, big part about it. So the big thing that I think about James's car, because it's a fantastic car, it's a really, really cool car. But James paid a price that one would associate with a car that was painted well.
Yeah.
And to see the car that isn't painted well, and here's this is my anger part. If you're going to go to the trouble of painting a car, we all know the hard part of anybody in this room knows the hard part of painting a car isn't painting a car. It's getting the car ready to be painted.
Yep.
And so if you've gone through all the fucking 20 hours of work getting a car ready to be painted and either taping shit off, which this car was a tape and spray.
And a huge amount of disassemble. I mean, it really should be more disassembled.
Car was a tape and spray.
It was a tape. And
Dude,
spray.
if I could fucking
Tape and
paint
spray.
shit and give people happy customers
You could do a lot though with bagging
in winter
and stuff,
in a
like-
fucking 7x7 fucking plastic garage with a fucking like turbine sprayer.
Yep.
These motherfuckers can paint a car for that,
The
they're
point
getting
being,
premium price.
somebody who sold this car was very happy to see that the phone number wasn't in their area code.
Yeah, you're right.
Somebody was very happy to see that somebody had to get off an airplane to get on this car and drive it home. Okay. And somebody was very happy to see that the guy getting off the airplane to drive it home wasn't the guy paying for the car.
It's true. It's true.
Right. So when
Perfect storm.
Right. So if you're the guy selling the car, every single one of those is like, ooh, that's nice. Oh, that's even nicer. Oh, holy shit. The guy driving it home is not the guy who paid us the money.
Right.
Right on.
And then
so,
also
yeah.
you don't know, like maybe the guy that built it is a total like function over form. So paint is not important to him. It's just like as long as it's not rusting and it's cool, like he didn't give a fuck. You know?
Yeah, and this is definitely one of those situations where when the sign on the door says that you're an automotive dealership, and when the sign on the door says that you sell street rods, then we're going to make a certain assumption about what you're selling.
Point taken. Yep.
And so James will approach it however he wants to do it, and that's fine. And ultimately, at the end of the day, he's very happy. He's got a car he can drive, and his dad can go out with him.
It seems like a solid fucking car.
It is a solid fucking car.
Doesn't Nova have a place in their family? Didn't his dad or somebody have? I mean, there's a lineage.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but in any case, this is what they've got. And he's really happy with it, and he should be really happy with it. Again, my thing is simply just saying, I'm only doing this as a public service announcement, as a way to say, what if you buy a car? What if you buy a motorcycle? And it's 80% of everything you wanted, but then upon receipt of the vehicle or whatever, you realize you're like, Jesus fucking Christ. You know, there's a lot of really, really great things about this. But for the money I paid, there should be 100% great things about this.
But on the other end of it, it's, you know, you could have came out, you could have looked at it,
So-
you could have.
There's a story.
But you bought it sight unseen, willing to buy, you know, like.
I've only been burned on one car from Japan. And I was burned on a car from Japan that had only 29,000 kilometers on the odometer and was bright yellow and was the soft top and was the 5-speed. And it's all the things you want when you're buying that particular car, Nissan B1. And so as a guy who does those and knows what they're all worth and seeing that one pop up and the price was where the price should be. And the pictures, unfortunately, you know, the pictures were 27 pictures taken with a camera that Chris Smith probably owns. I'm sorry, with a phone that Chris Smith probably owns. It was a 9-pixel picture. And, you know, you guys have all seen some of these pictures that come out of Japan. And the idea being like, okay, you want to tell them, hey, Ringo, can you go out there in the yard with a camera that is from this century and take 12 more pictures? But in the meantime, other people are trying to buy it.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like fortune favors the fast, right? So I'm like, shit. The auction report says it's good.
You have to throw a certain amount of caution to the wind.
You
when
do.
You're dealing in that.
Absolutely.
It's just what it is.
And so all the auction reports all said it looked cool. Everything looked great.
Like a hand grenade.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You can't be like, who should I throw this
Just
at?
fucking go, man. Right. And that's what happened is I was like, screw it. It's a soft top. The pictures look good. They say the top's in good shape. The transmission's there. The thing's only got 30,000 clicks on it. I think this is a grandma car. I think I got to buy it. And I bought it. And it came here. And when it got here, there was never one fucking doubt in my mind that it was 126,000 miles. And that it was sprayed by the same guy that sprayed James's car, right? And that there was rust coming through in several spots in the paint through the fake paint that they put on top of it. And that the radiator probably hadn't held pressure in 20 years. And the car had probably been overheated 3 or 4 times. You know, head gasket was questionable. And you can't tell any of that from the pictures.
If they have stuff, you can just pour it in it.
Yeah, right. It's so much easier, right? And so realizing the car that showed up wasn't remotely the car that was described. Now, again, I buy cars in Japan all the time. I got a drawer full of, I was going through my Japanese car drawer, and it's like, Jesus Christ, I've imported 56 cars from Japan, right? That's not, and to have only one of them bite me in the ass, have one of them burn me that way.
That's fairly good odds.
It's a fucking great odds. And it's because 90% of the times the guys who are doing these auctions and doing these listings, they want you to come back to their company, so they want you to have a great experience.
And it's fucking Japan, dude. I was there, when was I there? 2010.
Yeah.
And they had basically iPhones that we didn't have.
Well, yeah.
I mean, like shit.
And yet they took pictures of this car
That's
with a
my point.
security camera from space.
That's my point.
Yeah, exactly.
Like in Japan, they should have fucking like.
What's that?
What's the end of the story?
It's in my warehouse. If any of you guys would like a really beautiful Nissan BE1, what I would like to call a project car, It's prime candidate for a motor swap.
LS. Do it.
But what I can tell you is, I can tell you that going through the car when it showed up and when I kind of spent some time, which is what had I been there, but I wasn't willing to invest in an airplane ticket to Tokyo to go look at this thing.
You buy it through a company?
Yeah, I buy it from one of the companies I always go through. No, it was one that I really haven't worked with a lot.
Okay.
And
Express any?
yeah, oh yeah. No, unlike some people, I lit the entire world fucking on fire, right? And I mean, I took the close-up pictures with a camera that works, that's in my phone, and I sent them back to them and their management and their owners and everybody else. And I also put it on forums for people who do buy cars like me and said, you got to watch these fuckers because unlike everybody else I've dealt with who is from Japan and has a very high degree of honor, they must be letting the Americans write these auctions.
Well, then you find out the guy's name is Stan, and he comes from
of course,
Arizona.
and this is the point.
Yeah.
Look, as much as we who buy Japanese vehicles from Japan like to say that Japanese people are very honorable, it's very hard to get them to tell a lie, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And these descriptions on these vehicles are usually deadly accurate, like down to like, a very minutia level. In this particular case, this auction report on this vehicle was a work of fiction. And it was an out and out abject series of lies. And as a person that buys a lot of cars from Japan, now I'm a little shaken. And there are companies that all of us go and look at that we know are to be dealt with very fucking carefully. I mean, Steve looked at a car the other day and showed me that car. And there is no doubt in my mind that it is an underwater Fukushima car. Like all the symptoms are like there's a water stain inside the speedometer.
But I don't have to worry about dash lights.
No, you don't have to worry about dash lights. Because they glow. Right. The entire thing's got night vision.
And that sold.
Right.
That truck sold.
It did sell. Yeah, they dropped the price one time and it did sell. Yeah, but it did sell. And
we haven't put gas in it in 2 years, but it's running. I don't know.
Yeah, it's still running. And it was one of those ones where
you wouldn't want to put gas in it.
They had just painted
diesel.
They just painted the bottom of it. Like so the bottom of it was shiny.
Yeah.
So the bottom of it was shiny, yet inside there was all kinds of water damage too high up in the car. So there was a lot of things in the car that shouldn't have been rusty that were rusty. Mm-hmm. And that's again.
There's this too. Guess what?
Yeah.
There's a lot of videos of people in Japan off-roading those vehicles.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
I've seen guys driving those trucks through 6 feet of water and stuff. So
absolutely.
Maybe they got drunk and had a good weekend.
But the point being that part of the idea behind these auction houses is they have these auction sheets because when you're buying things from them, it's their reputation on the line. Right. They want to have a reputation for selling good cars.
So how many times have you gone back to that company?
Well, the company that ripped me off on the BE1? No, I've never gone back again. Right. In fact, what I do is when I see cars being listed by that company and I see the cars and I'll read their auction sheets and I'll know that it's bullshit because I now know what to look for. I make sure to put that on the forums and let people know, hey, this fucking, dipshit, G-Lion trading company again, they're clearly full of shit and they're clearly doing it again.
There's a guy from Lake Havasu running the whole company and he's fucking an ass.
Yeah, well, but and the funny thing is too, you'll also see sometimes on these Japanese car sites, you'll see the same car on 17 different sites.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And so you guys got to wonder about that because those are usually cars that are still at the auction lot and haven't sold yet. But these guys are prospecting. So they're like, okay, well, if we get a buyer, if we get some Yahoo, in Kennesaw, and he wants to buy this car for $5,000, then we're going to send, our guy over to buy it for $500 because, we got to buy it. We got a guy on the hook.
So let me ask you something. Yeah. So I trust you guys because you're the brain trust. So I know my level and I know you guys are smarter.
Yeah, right, I don't know why you would do that. That seems like a bad idea.
On Facebook or these other places, right? You'll see an ad and it'll be like 1984 Toyota Hiace or something, right? Yeah. $1,200, 8,500 miles, nothing on it, whatever. And then you go to the thing, and there's they posted it at every city in the United States.
Yeah.
How does that, what is the scam?
I don't know what they're getting. What are they mining?
That's my point.
So you contact them. You probably go through some bot that wants to, do us, oh, yes, are you interested? Yes, I'm interested. It's for sale. We can take your money, and it probably...
But what's the end game? That's a lot of work.
It's we'll ship you the vehicle. Here's all we need is the vehicle is available.
So you got to be a complete fucking schmuck
and wire transfer us $1,200, and we will ship it to you for free.
Absolutely. Yeah, okay.
All
right.
Or you can come to our address and pick it up.
Yeah, because I couldn't figure out the scam behind it. I'm
Type in Airstream trailer. You will see the same $21,000 Bambi trailer selling for $1,200.
Yeah,
in 97 different markets.
That's my point.
With the same exact pictures.
Right.
And the idea is that in each one of those markets,
there's a schmuck.
Every village has its idiot.
Got you.
And every village's idiot goes, I can get an Airstream Bambi for $1,200. Take my money.
I'm very interested. I would like to buy this. Okay.
Don't make me get out Exhibit A. The little red and white Volkswagen van that's parked up there.
It might robot.
That won't hold one single beer.
They might robot back and forth a little bit, and if you're still stupid enough to keep responding, then you might get to a live person.
Right.
But you can also tell by their syntax, the way they use their words, like they all have the same kind of, like, was in a garage, but they don't say it like was stored in a garage like an American would say. They say it like an Algerian or like somebody from whatever, like somebody who was taught English overseas. You know what I'm saying?
Was acquisitioned and stored in a receptacle in the garage.
Yeah, something like that.
It's either that or they're going to mine you for information. They're going to try to establish your full name, date of birth, telephone number, and whatever else they can get.
Not actual size. I don't care what you do. That is not the size of the Volkswagen beer cooler. Period. 26-liter capacity, my goddamn ass. It won't hold a new G.I. Joe. It won't hold anything. It's a fucking micro machine. Yeah. People are getting ripped off on shit all the goddamn time. I mean, that's just
the
it.
Wish version.
Well, I definitely...
Wish, exactly.
I got suckered, and then I got lambasted for calling out the suckery. So, like, they had...
And you haven't learned.
No, but listen. So, on Instagram, they had a pair of socks that had a rubber impenetrable bottom. And they showed all these people walking on
impenetrable.
Okay. You were eating that shit up.
So I was like, it was like $8 for a pair of socks. I was like, okay, $8.
Really?
So I bought the $8 fucking pair of impenetrable walking on glass fucking socks. And all I got was a pair of socks. There was no rubber on them or anything.
Not at all.
So I went back and I was like, fuck these motherfuckers. There's no rubber on this. There's no anything. It's a pair of socks.
Wait, did you start stomping on fucking nails just to prove them wrong?
Look at my foot.
Look, it doesn't work.
No, but all these other people are like, well, I got the socks and I've been fine. I've stepped on burning coals and my feet are great.
The only thing I worry about that is I had one thing that it was like fucked up, and it was like what had obviously happened was somebody had got something shipped out. Yeah. They sent it back, but they didn't send back. So maybe they resent it to you, and somebody had spoofed them and said, I don't want this anymore, and sent back, you know what I mean?
Oh, and they just shipped it.
They never opened it. They didn't realize that
it's every hippie's wet dream. A pair of socks that you can leave the house in and clot around the field and not get a big old spike through your foot.
Dude, I was so stoked.
It's true. Yeah, I get it.
I'm like, I'm never wearing shoes or pants again.
Or stoned.
You was
both.
Right. A little of column A, a little of column B. There's and that's another tip from your Unkie Phil. Before you buy any footwear, there's a YouTube channel called Rose Anvil, and it's a guy who does nothing but cut boots in half.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Okay, right?
Yeah,
and he cuts, and he'll start with Converse and go to Doc Martens, and basically everything you've ever learned about boots in your entire life is wrong.
My favorite thing though, so my ex-wife is a big whore about these fucking hunter boots.
Yeah.
And he took them up and he cut them in half, and they were literally like $7 rubber boots.
Yeah, exactly.
But they charge like $250 dollars for these things.
Again, sometimes the internet is used for good, and you can use your YouTube money to do something good to help society, like buying a $1,000 pair of Nikes, cutting them apart, and showing the world that they're garbage.
Yeah, right.
And then cutting apart, a $90 pair of shoes that is amazing and works great. Right. And then you understand why all the old white men in America wear New Balance.
There's a guy that does that with headphones and shows how Beats are a complete fucking...
Yeah, they're garbage.
Oh, they're burst.
If you buy like a $7 pair of Skull Candies...
What do they say about New Balance?
What's that?
Does he like New Balance?
You got to watch it, dude. Rose Anvil, just watch it. Watch the New Balance thing because it will hit you where you live. It really does acknowledge the fact that old white men are a cult unto themselves.
If you look that up, though, you automatically get an AARP card in the mail.
That's also true. Right, yeah.
New Balance, I mean, I have looked at New Balance, and they're one of the... Some of their shoes are still made.
That's
in
true.
America.
Some of their shoes are still made in America.
None of the cheap ones are still made
exactly.
in America.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
If you're very specific about it, though, you can get American-made New Balance.
So Sleepy, lesson learned: stop buying shit from Wish.
Well, I bought my love doll from Wish, and it was this big. It sucked. I couldn't. But fortunately,
so it was perfect.
Yeah, it was perfect size.
It was perfect size. And on that note,
yeah, we are at 2 hours and 45
2 hours
minutes.
and 45 minutes. I think that's more than enough of a podcast for these fine folks.
I think their ear holes have had enough.
I think they have had enough. Hey, if you are in a city that has more than 5,000 people, check to see if there's a distinguished gentleman's ride near you. If there isn't one, you should start one if you have more than 5 friends. If you don't have more than 5 friends, keep listening to Cleveland Moto Podcast because you're right where you belong. Exactly. Trust me. You are perfect. Yeah. And if you guys have any comments or anything else, it's motorcyclesandmisfits@gmail.com. They're always happy to hear from you. And
if you have never seen, so you've heard us talk about Renee for many years. And
you know she's going to smoke you for this, dude.
I know. Well, I've already posted the fact that she tried to kill us.
She's going to smoke you for this.
Motor Stories and Unkie Phil. We have a Renee sighting. She's real and 100% there, and she makes fun of us all, and she's awesome. So
yeah. We've all been.
And she does not have a poker face.
No, she does not. Her poker face is broken. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but you see the problem is Sleepy. You can't do that because we've been talking about putting stuff in Renee's boxes and stuff. I know. And all that kind of stuff. Like we've been making all kinds of bad one-entendres.
We were very respectful to her on the video.
On that one video, dude. But look, okay, you can't fucking wipe up. You cannot go like, okay, we were busting your balls and smoking you while you weren't here and all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. But on that video, we were polite little angels because anybody who's listened to this podcast is like legitimately straight up like, they don't.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I've never said anything.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know.
There you go. Thank you, John. That's a good out right there, my friend. That's a very, very good out.
This must have been.